Welcome in to a playoff edition of Calling the Audible. Mickey Magnets, Mo Khan, Omar the Bird. What type of
Omar
bird would
the
Omar be?
bird, just the
How about
bird.
how about the Oriole?
The Oreo.
Yeah, Omar
Omar,
the Oriole.
thoughts?
Yeah, he
He
likes
said
it. He
it
likes it.
works.
He
He
likes it.
works.
Everyone's got to be a bird, right? In this producer role, Eagle, Nightingale, and now the Oriole.
I think he heard Oreo. So now he's you see, I told you he heard Oreo. So it's Omar Oreo.
Yeah, the
There we
Oreo.
go.
Double stuff or single stuff Oreo?
Omar, answer. Oh,
Double stuff. He likes double stuff.
he loves the double stuff.
No, the single stuff's pretty good though. I mean, the single stuff, it has a nice quality to it. Double stuff, it depends, hit or miss with that sometimes.
Okay, are you twisting the Oreo off and
No,
separating and
I can't twist. There's two things I can't do in life. Only two things I can't do in life. Twisting Oreo
what's
cookies, I can't, and cracking open eggs, I can't do it.
when both things just like break apart in your hands?
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't. I can't.
Yeah,
Crack
no,
open an
I
egg.
haven't eaten. I actually haven't eaten an Oreo, an Oreo in like probably 5, 7 years. It's. I think it's too sweet. The middle. They're good, I guess, but it's been a while. So
Well, wedding season is upon us, Iggy. I gotta look good.
I know that's it. I'm on the. I'm on the a certain diet.
Yeah.
I don't like calling it diet. That makes it have like a negative connotation, and then you're hungry, and then it's just I'm watching what I'm eating. That's it. That's all. That's how I phrase
Just
it.
do 10,000 steps a day, and you're good.
I'm just limiting the calories to under
That's
2,000.
horsebleed, man. That's absolutely
2,000
eat
or
and
under. It's calorie
do-
deficit. That's all it. That's all it is.
no.
Calorie
Do
deficit.
10,000 steps a day, and trust me, it'll do a lot more. It'll do more wonders for your body than anything else.
Yes, I had to watch you run and do your 10,000 steps.
Yeah, look,
Last
I
night.
hit it just now. I was at 7,800 at 5:30 before the recording of the show. I said, you know what? Let me do it now. So I did a quick warm up, got my steps in. I'm now past 10,000 for the day, so I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into it. A lot of steps to get to in this show, with playoffs now well underway and upsets galore across the board. We'll start with Div 1 first and what we've had so far in Div 1. 2 games, divisional playoffs. KGP beat ATH Squad 24-18 in a thriller, and the Crashers easily handling Maroons. Iggy, more impressive
Yeah.
win, KGP or Party Crashers?
I'd have to say Party Crasher's more impressive. Just the way the margin of victory, right? 18 points. Not even getting to play those final 5 plays for Maroons. Because I expected KGP to win over ATH Squad, and ATH Squad gave them every bit of a scare there in their hopes of overcoming KGP. So KGP really didn't look great. They were missing their snapper because they did have Dylan Garber snapping. So that's one of his trusty wide receivers. Phil Cutler in Dylan Garber, usually his trusty right side wide receiver. So having him at snap kind of threw off the dynamic a bit. I know you were scorekeeping those, Mo. So what did you think overall?
Well, I think KGP allowed ETH Squad to just hang around. Darren Wilshire made a beautiful 45-yard bomb that went for a score to, I think it was Jerry.
No, it was Jordanson Alexa.
Jordanson Alexa, beg your pardon. Yeah, I apologize.
that was
they both were 3
one-
and 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
they both were almost identical numbers. It was a beautiful ball, which Alexi literally kamikazed his body for it in a Cirque du Soleil positioning that you only see at that level. And that gave life to ATH Squad that maybe they can pull out the upset. But in that final drive that they had against KGP, they were close. They were very close, took a sack, and just couldn't come up with the required points at the end, the required goods that would have gotten them probably at minimum overtime, maybe the win. But if you're KGP, they always say eggs, and I've called a bunch of sports at the pro and university stage of level. Like when you're a good team, it's always that opening game where you kind of get the funk out of you, like the clutter and all that stuff, and then you sail along here. I I think for KGP, they got all that crap out of their system, and now they can start playing their game as they move along towards the next round of playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, it just something looked off. It just looked a little off, and I just think it started with Garber at snap. That's not his usual position. It's his trusty third, fourth down option at receiver when the double hook, the hook and go, the sideline jog. It's always one of his go tos, and it wasn't there.
No, it definitely wasn't there. And but a win's a win. You don't care how you do it. It's not solid points now. It's about wins, right? Win in advance, survive, and move on here. And so we have that team moving through as well with Party Crash. So now we look at the next round of games here, Iggy, with what we have in the quarterfinals. Flagmore Sac, Party Crashers. They played each other just, I think, 2 weeks ago up in Laval on the same field for Field 3. You got Braves, William Luminaire. You got All-Stars against Blessed. Jameson's against KGP. Before we dive into all 4 games, what's the surefire win from the eyeball test of seeing these matchups?
That's a good one. I don't know, actually. I mean, you might want to say it's Jameson's over KGP, but you know how KGP are. They have a game where they, like we just talked about it against ATH squad, and then they lose by 1 to the All-Stars in the regular season. So yeah. I wouldn't say it's a first shot surefire win for Jameson's. They're obviously the favorite, but maybe it's Flagmal Sac over Party Crashers. Because All-Stars, we don't know how Wyatt Sarm's recuperating. It's been a while, maybe 2 weeks since he hasn't thrown a ball, at least in FPF. So maybe his health status under question. We don't know then how that limits the All-Star offense, if any. Braves versus Royaume. Man, Royaume's always a tough matchup. For me, it's between Flagmont Sac and Braves, but surefire, I'm not sure. Not sure there is.
Well, 3 weeks ago, up in Laval, Field 3, main complex, Flagmont Sac ripped apart Party Crashers, and they weren't even trying that day. I would say that's probably the game that I would have, if there was a point line on it, I think it would be 13.5 for Flagmont Sac. But look, if Fred Dupuis gets going early, and if they can create turnovers in this game here, I give them a chance. You look at the roster they have overall. Emile Tafel is a good underrated receiver that no one really talks about in this league. You talk about one of his safety valves on this roster, LP Thibodeau, who on third down, that's his stick mover right there.
Yeah.
Vincent Claroux has played fabulous this year. Again, no one talks about him. Kenny Baez had a good season. There's depth on this team here, Iggy, that can give problems to Flagmont Sac. But I just think Flagmont Sac has far too many options in their artillery to choose from for Alex Nadeau-Pius to say, you know what, I can pick my spots here and know what you're going to throw as a defense, and I'll find my guy in that open spot.
Yeah, and I mean, I like your line of 13.5 because Flagmont Sac are just an offensive dynamo. The thing is, Fred Dupuis is the quarterback in this division, other than, of course, Meyer and Wyeth. The one quarterback that can go toe for toe and score for score potentially with Flagmont Sac.
Yeah.
And it's going to come down to how the risk reward that Fred's going to take, right? We know once he loves going deep and intermediate that he's not necessarily taking the check down. He's going to have to be smart with the football. One turnover and this game is done. And not just that, he can score on every single drive. He needs to convert and beat Nadeau-Pius on 2-point converts. And he's going to have to go for 2 no matter what. There's almost never a point in this game where he's going to have to go for 1. And you saw this, and you've talked about this, Mo. Maybe Party Crashers, at the first chance of a unnecessary contact penalty off a touchdown, that they can apply 5 or maybe 10 yards, whatever it is, unnecessary roughness or an OC penalty, an uncharacteristic one. They'll have to apply that and maybe go for an onside attempt early in this game to try and get an advantage, because that's what you're going to have to do with this team. It's something that many teams in Div 1 should think about doing when you're facing Braves, All-Stars, and Flagmont Sac is just one other of those teams that you might want to go for your onside early, and if you get a penalty.
Last point, I think Mendel Joseph had a big pick six for Party Crashers in the win over Maroons. If they can force a turnover, that results in points. That's a massive, massive ace in their back pocket to kind of pull out, right, in that situation. So if they can figure it out, that offense, and make moves here, maybe they make it close. But I think right now, coming into this game, whenever this game is going to be played on Tuesday, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And you're absolutely bang on that Fred Dupuis and this offense has to play beyond their means, essentially, to win this football game.
Yeah, exactly.
Braves, Rayam Luminal. Fascinating game, compelling matchup. Rayam has that we don't give a bleep attitude, no fear, no intimidation, playing a Braves team that we all know about their MO, their history, how they operate. So where could they exploit the Braves attack or defense if they do come up with a win over the favorites in the Braves?
I'm gonna sound like a broken record here. You have to go score for score with Joe Mayer, and you have to beat him on 2-point converts. And Jesse Dupuis is very comfortable with his 2-point play calling. He's just going to have to outsmart the defense. I mean, having played and drawn up a lot of 2-point converts myself, you have to adapt to what the defense is showing you and play off that, and if they're dropping back your second quarterback and getting a defender immediately in their face, then you have to draw up something you have to be one step ahead of the Braves, and Jesse Dupuis is capable of doing that. And again, if you have a chance to go for an onside with a 5-yard penalty add-on, my God, you do it right away, because the second you're down 8-6 in this game, you lost. It's over. So you have to do anything to turn the tides in your favor. And if it means going for an onside early, especially if you can apply a penalty on it, you do that.
So they played each other back in mid-March, which Braves won 50-27. Not a very intriguing scoreline for either side here, Eggs, for Ryan Luminal.
Yeah.
Jesse Dupuis threw 3 INTs in that game. That equals 18 points, correct?
Yep.
So you had 18-27. That's 45, right? And Braves had 5 points from converts. So you see the pattern I'm saying? Like, he threw 3 INTs. They punched them in for 18 points. And then at the end, they got 5 extra points out of it to win by the score of 23.
Right.
So if Jesse Dupuis is going to win this, I mean, not him, but if they're going to win this football game, Luminal, he's got to cut down those INTs. He cannot throw more than 1 at best, at max, right, in this game here. But I think the onus won't be on Jesse, but more on A.J. Gomes and this defense and what he calls, because he knows his Braves team very well, how they operate, how they think, how they eat, bleep, the whole 9. And can A.J. get the guys in place in this cat and mouse matchup with Joe Mayer and what he will throw at that Rayon Luminaire defense? And if A.J. Gomes can get the guys correctly in the position that they have to be, maybe they flip the table and get 1 or maybe 2 turnovers that can go for points. Because that last game, those 3 INTs were costly for Rayon in trying to win that football game over the Braves.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Royaume team in Div 2 last year that beat that Kevin Wyeth Vengeance team, I believe it was, in the finals. No one expected it. No one really gave a chance to Royaume, and they pulled off a great upset. You never know. Jesse's done it before, so there's a chance. I'm looking at the game card, and man, they got to stop James Drysdale. He went 10 receptions, 14 targets, 153 yards, 3 touchdowns. They're definitely going to need a game plan for to stop James.
Absolutely. All right, on to the next game here. So we got Bless All-Stars, a very compelling matchup with these two teams. Bless trying to assert themselves as a Div 1 team now. It's sort of like they've been chasing their own shadow a little bit in terms of them trying to find their way in the Division 1 level of play, and they are getting closer and closer. But you mentioned it before, the biggest storyline will be Kevin Wyeth and his health. And what type of arm does he have? If it's dangling by a thread, and we hope not, because he's one of the best, and we hope he can play forever, which we all love to be that. but Father Time does catch up to everyone at some point in their athletic career, whether you're pro or amateur. I give Bless a fighting chance. I really do. I'm not saying they're going to win this football game, but I give them a chance if Stephen Harpersad can kind of keep Kevin on the sideline here with long, sustaining drives. And you look at this roster that they've compiled here for Blessed. I mean, they're no pushovers, and if they're locked in, this could be a very 50-50 flip a coin flip over here if it ends up being a one-score game going towards the final five of the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, you spoke about it very quickly early on that, some teams have jitters in their first game. My God, the ambush bless up, and we'll get to it in Div 2 in a few minutes here, but my God, those two teams had a terrible, and they'll tell you themselves, it was a terrible start to the game. I think the first 4 drives, or 2 each, had interceptions, right? Yeah, you were scorekeeping that game too, because you were scorekeeping everywhere this week.
Was I? I forget. It becomes a blur at that point. Honestly, it really becomes a blur.
It was pick six, turnover on down. It was just a mess. So Steve got his messy game kind of out of the way, and yeah, he can't. Even though Kevin Wyeth's arm's a question mark, you cannot give that team 1 inch. It's that remains true. That's like slaying a demon until proven otherwise. You have to go with the heavy favorite in Kevin Wyeth, and if you give them a sniff, they are going to bite off the entire arm. So Steve has to go full throttle here. He cannot make a mistake. He has to be perfect. Yes, long sustained drives, keep Wyeth on the sideline. I agree. He's just gonna have to do what you think you would have to do, even if Kevin Wyeth was healthy. So it's the same thing. He's got to score on every drive. He's got to hit almost every single 2-point convert. He's going to have to one-up Wyeth, and hopefully his defense can come up with a key stop that yes, maybe that could give Bless the advantage and get them the victory.
Well, the biggest issue for Bless is that they can't create turnovers. They only had, I think, 8 INTs during the regular season, and that – you're playing a mangled Kevin Wyeth arm right now, right? That's not functioning properly for what he is as an elite football player. And the last time they played each other, I think, was nearly 3 months ago. So there is some time lapse, right? That maybe since that game to where we are present is when we play this game next week, that Bless could have the right recipe in place to kind of come up with a couple of touchy moments in this matchup here. But again, you look at that all-star lineup, though, the Submergents, Matt Kerouac, Chris Millard. There is so many talented players in this team here that all Kevin has to do is get the ball out of his hands, 2-yard hook, and ends up being like a 40-yard touchdown afterwards. Pat Jerome included.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Last game on the docket here. Jameson's against KGP. Look, I think KGP are in for if this KGP team that played ATA squad is the exact same lineup against Jameson's will run right through them without hiccups.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you. I thought you were gonna jump in.
No. Yeah, yes. And if they're not,
and
if they have their lineup,
if they're not, I think Jameson's will have to navigate through what will be a very plucky KGP team. You think about these two teams. I mean, look, Jameson's ran them off the field by 24 early March, and that was the only matchup that they had against each other. Now here they are back in this quarterfinal battle here. Jeff Rosenblatt is playing his best football. We know how he is as a quarterback. Phil Cutler. You see, I like to use what's that term that they use? Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat player. They call him Playoff Jimmy, right?
Yes.
Playoff Phil, right? Phil Cutler loves the spotlight. Yep. And here's a chance for him to kind of slay the ultimate dragon. I think the number 3 all-time passing leader in league history in Jeff Rosenblatt. I think Phil's not far away, by the way. So I think if Phil can get Dylan Garber back to where he is, as that wideout to the right of the formation, which is his postal code, it just gives him more dynamism to work with. And again, Jamesons are no slouches. They were one of the best teams in Div 1. And I think that this is not a hill, but a mountain to climb for KGP on the weekend coming up next week. That is.
Yeah, you have Jeff. Just a stat check there. Jeff at number 2 all time. Phil Cutler number 3. So they're
No, I wasn't
two
off,
and
man.
two
Wasn't off.
two and 3 in the all time
How many yards did they
all
combine
competition.
total of yards per pass?
13,000, maybe 14,000 with a few decimal points.
Well, hold on. That doesn't make sense. They must be.
Oh,
somewhere in
sorry.
the 40s.
My God, yes. That would be 130,000 is what I meant to say.
And they wouldn't equal to Kevin Wyatt's number though.
Yes, Kevin just reached 100,000, 101,000 to be exact now. So yes, their combined numbers would
Combined. So
It's
Kevin Wyatt's chasing those guys combined numbers here.
it's like 65,000 and 74,000.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So in your mind, what has to give for either side to win this matchup?
It's really tough because Jamesons are going to score on every drive. Quasi's going to need to come up with bait Jeff into one of his patented no-look sideline passes to Anthony Brisebois. He's going to have to bait one of those, pretend that he doesn't know it's coming and jump right underneath it and take it for a pick six because that is going to be like a 12-point swing right there, right?
Yeah.
So, and 50-26, like you said, that last score line, Jeff was nearly perfect, right? 20 of 27, 252 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. So a pick, hopefully a pick six, and maybe that puts KGP in a position to win the game. In that game, as we're seeing on the scorecard, Jeff finally was going for 2. Anthony Brisebois had 1. Khalil Kerr caught 2-point attempts. But Jeff, I don't know if it was just a Div 2 thing, but he was still going for 1. And at one point, he's going to need to go for 2. And I think in Division 1, he probably is. But he needs to, if it's not at least against KGP, he needs to practice it because it's coming. It's coming where he's going to eventually, to slay the dragon in Mayer or Wyeth or even Nadeau Pius, he's going to have to go for 2 and outscore his opponents going for 2. So all to say that KGP has to be effective in their 2-point converts.
Yeah, and they are. The KHP has a little bit more,
exactly.
Of options to work with on 2-point converts. Maybe Jeff's more comfortable with 1. Again, this is a moment here for Jeff. I mean, you think about he's had so many close moments. Spring season came up short in the finals for Div A. He had. I'm trying to remember. I think it was two springs ago, the spring of 2022, in the playoff game. He had Lazar's team on the ropes and lost that game. And in the winter, he had Lazar on the ropes and lost that game. Remember with James O'Hain dropping that ball in the winter playoffs. So I mean, he's had moments, but now it's his moment.
Yeah,
he's got to come up with that moment, right? That signature win. And obviously, if he were to win winter, he would be in that elite club of quarterbacks of Wyeth, Joe Meyer, himself, and whoever else, Chad Barr. I forget who else. All these quarterbacks who won, right?
Yeah.
So this is the big one, right? This is where the best on best play, and this is his chance to do so. We'll find out, though. Div 2, 4 games. Only one of the higher seeds got through. Dirty Bridge Plus easily smashing #NR. Stoics getting bounced by Poseidon's Kiss in the last play on defense by Kiss. Bless Up winning by 2 over Ambush. And Run It Once taking out 2HD pretty much with the game-winning INT. Some more surprising win was who? Was it Poseidon's Kiss, Bless Up, or Run It Once?
I would have said Poseidon's Kiss going in, but at the same time, that is a dangerous team. That Division B squad that won in the spring of last year is very talented. And if that's a team that I had said going down the stretch, because this was a team that was like 0-7, maybe 0-8, and they won their last 2 games or maybe their last 3 to squeak into the playoffs. Man, if this team gets streaky, they can do some damage, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Like you said, Juwan coming up with a huge defensive bat down on a triple move by Emerson Peterkin, in, out, in. But I'm gonna that despite everything I just said, I'm gonna have to go with Bless Up just because of the roster that they put on the field that night. Steve Haraprazad was playing full-time defense. How Ambush and Ben McMahon did not score on every single drive, just literally creating 2-on-1 situations and picking the hell out of Steve Haraprazad is beyond me. I do not know how they didn't put up 50 yards, because then you would have had Will and Marvin trying to compensate, and that would have left another hole. You could have easily totally. And the other thing, you know that the Bless Up defense is never going to play man. You know it's zone. Destroy them in the zone. Shred them to pieces. I just I'm shocked that Bless Up won given the roster. Otherwise, it would have been a very I'm not too surprised they won overall, given their actual roster.
So 2 words for you for Bless Up: Jordan Tower rushing Ben McMahon, who had no rushings in the game, made him to a passer. When nearly not 1/3, but almost 1/3 of your passing attempts goes to Kevin Donnett, you're not winning a football game. Kevin Donnett went 13 for 13 for 70 yards. You have Quizzen Gordon Mall, you have Roy Submergent, Marc-Andre Lapointe, who combined for, I think, 8 catches and a little bit more than 100 yards between the 3 of them. No, you're not going to win a football game. And Ben McMahon's got to learn a hard lesson that you have to find your playmakers, and you have to get the ball to your playmakers. Kevin Donnett's a safety valve. He's not a playmaker. I'm not trying to insult the guy, but no one's afraid of Kevin Donnett as a football player. People are afraid of Lapointe, Submergent, and Quasi Gordon Mall. And for those 3 guys to combine for only 113 yards, whatever it was, you're not going to win. Poseidon's Kiss, I agree with you, but we'll bring up this point when we talk about the game against CFB. I believe Don Benevento will not be there, and that's a massive loss for them if he's not available because he's on vacation, I believe. You look at running once, scoreline's a little bit flattering towards 2HD because Jeff Rosenblatt did not kill them off inside the 5 with 5 plays left, got stopped, gave them 2 plays, and they picked them off at the end. But Run It Once, that was a big win because 2HD looked like they had them on the ropes for a while, but Run It Once kept with their scheme and got through with ease. Now look towards these next 4 matchups in the quarterfinals. CFB, Poseidon's Kiss. It's going to be tough, Iggy, for Poseidon's Kiss. This is a team that you look at their roster. They're very youthful, athletically gifted. You mentioned Juwan Edgehill. I call him Mini Max Raph Morelli, who's like Max Crosby out there. No, it's all gas, nothing else with him, right? And how he rushes the quarterback and chases down plays. If they're going to win, can he keep that emotional level at a high point that they can continue to come up with a play when they need to do so? But this is CFB here, and I repeat, not Stokes you're playing on this Monday night coming up.
Yeah, this is calm, cool, smarts versus heated, athletically gifted teams, right?
Yeah.
The cool, obviously, smart being the cap-friendly Braves, and the heated, talented Poseidon's Kiss. Joe Mayer's gonna put a clinic on, and he's gonna get Poseidon's Kiss running all over the place and having internal implosions, and it's gonna be a lot on how the offense with Rocco Cristiano can combat that and go score for score with Joe Mayer. It's possible, but there's going to be one hiccup of a play. The other key is going to be who rushes Rocco Cristiano from the CFB side of things.
Mini Max, man.
No, who on CFB is going to rush Rocco Cristiano?
I apologize. I was thinking because when Max Crosby in my mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Because when you have Rocco buying time and running, because he's equally he kind of reminds me of like Chris Vetto, and Chris Vetto kind of reminds me of him. You have a dangerous quarterback that can extend plays and get key first downs when it's 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. So yeah, that's going to be a key matchup, the rusher of CFB versus Rocco.
Also, I want to throw in the fact that a guy like Jared Taylor could be a big factor. He thrives in these type of matchups against the
Yep.
best of the best, right? And Jared
Yep.
Taylor is one of the best out there, both sides of the football. My only fault for him is that he tends to freelance on defense, and that leaves open gaps that teams kind of pick on him. So can he? He has to trust his instincts, obviously, as you
Yep.
know, playing this level as a quarterback and an apparent defensive player, still with it like yourself, apparently. But you got to trust your instincts, right? And if he can trust his instincts and not fall for the trap from Joe Mayer, he can come up with a big play, and that could be
He
the difference.
can.
Remember, they lost by 12 to them, so it was a two-score game. But
Mm-hmm.
that, if you flip that one score, I mean, hey, it could end up being massive for them. So it starts on the front end with Mini Max and Morelli, and on the back end for Jared Taylor, the White Tiger, and Nick Ropini on offense. He's always come up with the yak for big plays, and he has a penchant to make big plays. I still believe CFB is still the favorites to win this by at least 7, if not 8.5 points or more in this matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, I would give the touchdown and a 2-point convert. So yeah, 7.5. Yeah.
So this is a unique game here. Mongoose against Bless Up. We've spoken and thrown roses at Mongoose all season long. Bless Up is kind of like they've kind of huffed and puffed, coughed their way into the playoffs here. This is a real test now for Mongoose because they're no longer the chasers, but now being the hunted because of how well they did during the regular season. Went 9-1, only one loss during their campaign. Could this be a trap game for them?
It could. I'm trying to think if these two teams faced
Oh,
off.
they did. They did.
In-
And
in-
Mongoose ripped them apart by 18, 19 points.
Right. You're probably referring to this season. I'm actually trying to think back to the spring season in Division B, and I'm not sure they did. Now that I'm thinking about it, it could be. I mean, man, when you have Steve on the other side, you never count that guy out. Every time, I thought even on what was it, Monday night, Tuesday night, I don't remember anymore. You can't count Steve out even when he's playing defense. Apparently,
Yeah.
this guy when he has the ball last, he came up with a clutch touchdown to Marvin. Mongoose is your clear favorite. But man, whoa, it could be yes. The answer is yes. It's a trap game, and a lot. I mean, it's nothing controversial to say. A lot hinges on your quarterback play. So let's see if I think Nick Schaefer has a lights out game, then he's gonna have a lights out playoff run. But the thing is, he could have the game with 4 TDs, 2 interceptions, and that might not be good enough here.
Right.
Because you give Steve chances, he's gonna go 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns on you.
So I think for Nick Schaefer, it's his coming out party this year in terms of his quarterback acumen and how well he's played, and he's been absolutely regal on the football field. I think we agree on that point, Iggy. But now it's a different animal. You're playing in the knockout rounds. It's a one and done. It's not a best out of 7. If this is the best out of 7, I give Mongoose massive favorites in this matchup.
Yeah.
And I just find this is the game I'm not comfortable with because I find that Mongoose this year they're not saying they're running up the score, but they had the free will on offense. And you know how it is, like playoff football, the windows get tighter, it gets chippier, it gets a little bit physical. And can they adapt to this? And with them being the heavy favorites, how do they handle that expectation level? Whereas with Bless Up, they've been here before, Iggy. They know how to win these type of matchups.
Yeah.
So this game, I'm not really as confident in Mongoose to win. But I think for Bless Up, if they get an early lead and an early stop, that might force the agenda for Mongoose. And how do they react to that adversity if they do fall behind by a score plus a turnover early in the first half, knowing that, hey, they've always been out running and outgunning teams from jump to finish.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I'm noticing, Nick Schaefer spread the ball more than ever this year. Usually, Thomas Couture, you see 500, 600 yards. He split that yardage up really 4 ways, 5 ways.
Right.
The thing is, bless up, have the receivers, and it's always important in looking at those matchups. Who's your fourth and fifth defender? And here I'm basically looking at like Craig Browning as your 5 or 4. That's really good.
But he fits that,
Exactly.
He fits their
I'm
style.
saying that's good. That's a good good fourth or fifth defender to have on the team, right? Where you got Will Power, Dondre Borden, James Langshaw, and Marvin as your top 4. That's like and not necessarily in that order, of course. My God, like your fifth defender is Craig Browning. That's really good. Now he was injured on the sidelines, right, on Tuesday night in Laval, and that forced Steve to play defense. So now you have Dave Gutkowski as a number 5, which is still good, but Browning, I think, with the better defender and more just has higher vertical and can cover a bit more ground. But Dave's a great tackler. But my point being that bless up they can go 4 or 5 defenders deep to cover all of the Mangoose receivers.
So some ticklers have run it once, but the big storyline is no Dan Mancini out for the season or for this campaign at least. Who knows what happens in the spring season? Could Silent Ticklers survive without one of the security blankets for Jordan Pineda, however far they go in the playoffs now?
I mean, I can't remember the full story. It's possible that even Adam Rosen isn't there for this game, but don't quote me on that. But if that is the case, that's going to be really tough. It might not be though. I may be thinking of maybe a playoff game down the line. I don't quote me on it. But definitely Mancini not being there is massive, a massive loss for the team. Replacing him is JD Chevalier. So while you have the smarts are balanced out, you're missing that top end speed. That and because I'd say hands wise they're both that JD Chevalier is a reasonable and good enough replacement of the hands of Dan Mancini, but his vertical and his speed that is something that not many can match. And so there's a slight downgrade there, but it's still a very smart defender that Jeff's gonna have to pick on at certain moments of the game and choose his timing wisely on that, and not pick on him throughout the entire game. That would be unwise.
Yeah, you take away Mancini from the roster. He had, I think, 1 touchdown for almost every 3.5 catches this season, which is remarkable. Almost 800 yards receiving. That's a lot of real estate to lose from one guy as an artist like he is on the football field. Yeah. But, you look at Run It Once. They just like Bless Up, they underachieved during the regular season, kind of squeaked in there, kind of, huff and cough their way into the playoffs. But, if Jeff has the right guys in place Jeff Rosenblatt just has the right guys in place for an offense, Skylar Bailiff, I love him. I think he's a phenomenal player. Sanders Armand. Which Sanders are you getting? Are you getting the Dylan Brooks version, or are you getting the Draymond Green version, right? And what I mean by those two versions, Dylan Brooks goes off the guardrails and forgets about the agenda, whereas if he plays Draymond Green, if he gets in your mind and he plays to his style, he can be effective. So it's all about their mental focus and how they're going to be in this game here. Manu Alaroy has really stepped up to the plate in Div 2. By the way, Manu, you can't use an FPF penny like you've done so this season. If you noticed that, Iggy, or not. But the point is that they're going to be okay on offense. I don't have a question about that. I think it's their defense that has to come up with the big play. And, and for Jordan Pineda, there's no such thing as a 5-yard pass. It's like minimum like 14 yards or more.
Yeah.
So if Matt Bond's calling the defense, can he figure out the code, the Pineda code, to get that turnover or get one of his guys to create that turnover in this matchup? If he does, then I think this is going to be a lot closer than expected.
I mean, yeah, they're gonna have to jump stuff. It's a team in Silent Ticklers that plays a ton of man. They're gonna have to get an interception off of that. Of course, playing man, you're always exposing your weakest defender. And when on the run at one side of things, if your 4 or 5 is Groper and Manu, that's really solid. So
Yeah.
that's they're gonna have to come up with a timely interception. Maybe make Jeff think it's man defense and
Right.
come off into a zone and really disrupt a certain play call that Jeff would want to use against a man defense and kind of get ahead of the Jeff Rosenblatt brain in calling his offense.
Yeah, I think it's one's first 1 to 40 wins. I think the line would be 78 points, 78 and a half. I think it goes over 78 and a half. I think it might come out to extra points.
I'm not sure either team gets 40 in this one. If
I think both
Mancini
teams
was
get
there,
40.
if Mancini was there, because of his ability to stretch the field and score so quickly and put up 6 points in 10 seconds, then I would have said maybe. But without him there, I'm not sure about that.
I think it's going to be first 1 to 40. I really believe so.
I can see like a 39-38. I mean, like it's basically 40, but I think both teams stay under.
It goes over 78 and a half. 78 and a half. It goes over. That's my gut feeling right now.
I'll go under.
Blue Ballers, Dirty Birds Plus. This doesn't have the sex appeal as the other games do. I'll be honest with you. It's not the same. There's no headline storyline to say, okay, well, this is why I'm going to tune into the game. Well, I'll be there probably if anything. But I
got one for you.
You go for it.
It's Quade Johnson and his development progress.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's struggled. I mean, they won a Division III playoff game putting up 13 points. He won't get away with that in Division II. And
no,
he has
he
the
threw out
offensive
36
guys.
Though. He threw out 36 though.
Yeah. In Div 2, he has the guys around him. Now, granted, his Div 3 team was a bit depleted, so much so that they had to forfeit. We'll get there for Div 3. But, yeah, in Div 2, when he has the offensive weapons, he has the arm to get the ball to his playmakers and for them to make plays and put up points. It's just last time these two teams met, the Blue Ballers defense, especially, Jeff, it's a name that Jeff and you threw out today. Mendel Joseph, man, this guy's a baller on defense, and he can undercut the routes that Quaid really loves running, and I'm pretty sure he got a pick 6 in their previous matchup. I think it was like a Saturday night in Brossard, and yeah, but it's gonna be a storyline of Quaid and can he put a run together and another good QB performance out there.
Yeah, and don't discount Marcus Valcourt on the other side. He had 3 INTs against Adam Sinagra in the win over #R in the red zone too. So I mean, he was like a magnet towards the throws from Sinagra to come up with a big play, so that he could be the big X factor for Dirty Birds Plus. But again, one thing I'll look at, and I don't know, was it with you I was on the broadcast for spring season when Dirty Birds played in the finals? Or I think it was Alexis Dubois, perhaps, maybe?
Oh, I was on the field, Mo.
Oh, right, yes, you were both on the field. So who was it working with?
Manu, perhaps.
Or Jerome Hovington, maybe?
No,
anyway,
not
whoever I was working with, if you remember, right, in that first half, Dirty Birds were flying, right?
Yep.
No one was
got a Hail Mary touchdown on the last play of the half.
Hey man, but let's book that parade down the 40 West for their ticker tape celebration. Then the second half, I think the second play threw a pick, and that was it, right? And didn't recover.
May have even been the first play.
Yeah, I think it might have been whatever it was, right? So I'm intrigued to see if Quaid's gotten over that mental hump in the playoffs, because now you're moving deep in the playoffs and now you're playing better teams, and now you have to be a little bit more meticulous in how you protect the football and not take that chance. And if he can be clean out there and not be solely dependent on James Tyrrell or even Antoine Brisebois, maybe they got a chance to pull off the win over Party Crashers. So we'll have to see about that as well. Div 3, Iggy, as we move along here. We had the first installment of the brackets, and my bracket or anyone's bracket has been busted. Yeah. For those keeping track of the South region, I gave it the South region. Figured, hey, you know what? It is what it is. Infantry taking out Brotherhood in the 3-6 matchup. Massive win for Infantry. Your team, Kiss My End Zone, losing to Beer Belly Brigade in the 7-2 versus 7 matchup. ECW won rather easily. Mongoose won against AF1 in the 4-5. And then on the other side of the bracket, the left side, the top 4 seeds all won. Dime Bougie won. Backyard Bullies won over Sharks in a close one. Lightweight over Minis of McDizian in a 3-6, and the Bruins won rather easily. So, Iggy, we look at it now, heading to the quarterfinals. Is there a definitive favorite in this bracket style of the final 8 teams left in this situation right now?
I mean, I would have wanted to have seen EZW and seen that game unfold. Unfortunately, not the case with a forfeit victory. But EZW, man, that offense is so good, so smooth. Jeremy White, likely your two-way player of the year, not just QB of the year. You could have won that award as well. Likely your two-way player of the year in Jeremy White, but like they almost swept the awards, Mo. Like it's I'm fairly certain, I'm fairly confident in my predictions here, but like it's pretty clear that Alexandre Barros is gonna win receiver of the year, and it's pretty damn clear to me that Etienne Laurent Gervais is gonna win defensive player of the year. And if that's the case, man, they just swept 3 out of the 4 awards, and it's only because they didn't have like a second stud receiver, which they do have. They just didn't have the volume share to spread the ball enough to have a wide receiver 1 win receiver of the year and have a receiver 2 be a two-way player of the year, an honor that probably goes to Jeremy White.
So they probably have the easiest road now to get to the final.
Right.
You got Mongoose coming up. We'll talk about that first.
It's tricky.
And then on the other side of the bracket, you got Infantry and Beer Belly Brigade, right?
Yeah.
So their path was made a lot easier when the South region went to utter collapse of destruction of what it was. So now they get Mongoose. Tricky, plucky.
Yes.
Unpredictable. Very patient. They're not going to play out of their schemes, deviate from what they do very well. And now here they are playing a Mongoose team, playing an ECW team that loves to mix it up with the run and pass. And remember, they lost by 3 way back on January 7th, Mongoose to ECW. I remember that game. I was there for that.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So could they pull off the upset here? I mean, this Mongoose team has history of playoff success in years past.
Yep. Look, it's pretty clear to me that EZW is gonna have like 8, maybe 9 possessions because they go quick. Probably 8 though, and if Mongoose slows it down, maybe 7. That EZW is gonna score on either all the drives, so 8 for 8, 7 for 7, or not score on one of them, which would probably come from like a JF Delos or a Simon Duchesne interception. But otherwise, EZW scoring on every drive, because I don't think Mongoose has the defense necessarily that matches up well with what EZW does well on offense. But, man, that Mongoose, they're resilient. They were down 12 Wednesday night in Laval to Air Force One, having thrown 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick 6. There was a 40 bomb right after thrown by AF1. Like, it looked like Mongoose was crumbling, and slowly but surely, like you said, this is a team that doesn't panic. They stay calm, cool, collected, and they work their way back. I believe they ended up winning by 12 themselves, so they totally turned the tide on AF1, and it's possible they win. It's not. I'm not saying it's impossible, but man, EZW, they have to find a way to stop Jeremy White.
I don't think they have the agility to stop Jeremy White.
Don't think
they do. I don't think they have anyone on that roster that can do so. But that doesn't discount what they can do as a team.
Right.
And you said it before. They might get 8-9 possessions and be quick strike, But if Alex Gaudet, I beg your pardon, can kind of go at a slow burn and kind of get them a little bit anxious, like, okay, like, let's get the ball back. But
Yeah.
Gaudet can go maybe 10 plays, 8-minute drive. They got a chance maybe to pull off the win, but you're absolutely right. This is going to be a tall task for them to come up with the win, and what is the 1 versus 5 matchup, and it might be the biggest disparity. So on the flip side of things, though, we got Bruins lightweight.
Yes.
This could be a championship game here
Yes.
in the Elite Eight. I'm fascinated by these two teams.
Yes.
The style of play. Chris Verreau, Simon Dagenet, Gab Wiseman, Juan Edgehill, I beg your pardon, Emile Grégoire for lightweights. There's a lot of style and substance in this game here, and there could be a lot of flair in terms of how many points is scored. And both those quarterbacks don't make mistakes. And if one makes a mistake, that could be the one that turns the tide in favor for the opposing team.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think if one makes a mistake, I think the other is equally likely to make a mistake. Not because one made a mistake that they're equally likely. I just think in general they're equally likely to make one mistake. I wouldn't panic if, one throws an interception, especially early on in the game. There would still be a lot of time left and a lot of room to maneuver, and hopefully your defense can get you that possession back. And because if it's Simon that throws the first pick, that lightweight defense is again with Juwan, once again he's kind of the star of the show here. Juwan, Jaden, Emile Grégoire, these are guys that can go and get the football. Trey Bentley as well. These are fast guys that cover a lot of ground, but Chris, on the other hand, is a safe quarterback, right? He's not going to throw those many interceptions. He's gonna take a run and then gain, instead of 1 or 2 yards like I would, he gains 7, 8, 9 yards because he's dipping around everyone, right? So
Right.
dipsy doodling. And there's a lot of weapons on that Bruins offense, as you were saying, right? Don't forget big
Charles.
guys like. Yeah, Rocco Cristiano's a receiver out there. Jocelyn Calix, he got the size and speed and hands there. Zach Zwern, right? This is a guy that was playing Division 2 a few years ago, Division 1 on some teams. So it's going to be electric out there. Definitely, Chris Rivet, if you're listening, because I know you are, definitely go film this one. Grab a team to go film this one for Game of the Week, because this one's going to be first to 50, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's we got ourselves a treat. I know people are going to say, "Oh, this should have been a finals matchup," but in the bracket that we laid out, we get it early, and that side of the bracket is going to be massive. It's a death row teams out there. But on the flip side, we got maybe the Cinderellas, right? The Infantry and Beer Belly Brigade. Infantry come up with a massive win over a Brotherhood, and Beer Belly over your team. Sorry, Iggy, and how that game played out. This is another game that is different in styles, right? You have a Beer Belly Brigade that loves the RPO, with Alex Fafal being the guy that controls the orchestra as a maestro, which I think we agree is his strength. And then you look at Infantry and how they've built up their team. They're sandpaper. They're gritty. They're not going to beat you with style and substance. There's no question about that. But I love how they didn't relent under pressure against Brotherhood. Zach Stacy was cool, facing the onslaught from a much more athletic Brotherhood team. And then you look at his pass catchers, right? He took what was given to him. If he can do the exact same thing as a blueprint in this game, Iggy, I do give Infantry that edge to win this matchup. Nick DeMalo, the Submergents, of course, with Rory being the man for them. Michael Kazaka, no one talks about him in this league, but he's an assassin on the football field on both sides of the fence here.
I'm not sure, though, in terms of, taking, obviously take what the defense gives you, but this philosophy has bitten Zach Stacy in the butt a little bit, especially, and we'll get there in Div 4, but being maybe a little too conservative after having a few discussions with some FPFers. He's been a little reluctant and gun shy on the deep ball, and that's fine. You should go deep when it's there, and when you have yards of separation. But when the defense can pick up that you're not going deep and you're a little too conservative, this is a beer belly team that could force a turnover. Not likely, because I think Zach Stacy is generally a zone killer kind of quarterback, just like Alex Fafard is. He absolutely tore our defense apart. There was nothing our defense could do to stop him. They scored on every drive. So, and not only did they put 49 on us on Wednesday night, this is a matchup that week one, right off the gate, Beer Belly 42 points on the infantry. So that's two teams. Again, this is way back on January 6th, but they scored 42 on them then, and they just scored 49 now. So, and it's a very solid offense. No one's an absolute stud and superstar, but they are solid as a unit, and it's really hard to stop. Now, the infantry have the key piece to really limit the Fafard offense, and that's Ethan Adrian rushing.
Right.
We saw Ethan Adrian destroy a few quarterbacks and a few offenses, and this is one that you need an elite rusher to limit what Fafard can do, and they have that in Ethan. Ethan's going to be massive. He'll have to be probably their best defensive player if they want to win.
I think he's just got to, when he has to be a game record, doesn't mean he has to get a sack. Incompletion is just as great as a sack in a sense, because you're putting stress on that team to make plays. Yeah. And I think Ethan can make plays for them as a game wrecker. And again, it's unfortunate we don't have like those analytics stats, because he'd be up there in the analytics department of what he is as a football player. But whoever comes out of this game here should be feeling on cloud nine, because again, no one would have thought they would be here at this point, Iggy. Because right now in Group D of this division, Div 3, you have Diamond Bougie, Backyard Bullies, Lightweight, and Beer Belly Brigade. 4 teams from one division still alive in the Elite Eight. So that's half of the teams still here. So I just think now it's going to be compelling to watch this matchup. It may not be the most appealing matchup because of the rankings that they're in, but this is the bracket, man. This is what we wanted. We wanted March Madness. We got chaos at the expense of UAG, which we're all happy about, because now we're not giving you a trophy at the end of a road show here, which is great for all of us. Fantastic. But now we look at the last game. Don Bougie, Backyard Bullies. Bullies beat Bougie back in, I think, mid-Feb with Vinny Galano at quarterback, not Sean Avram, who was away on business. So this brings up the question here. What is the confidence meter for you with Sean Avram at quarterback?
I think they have a better shot with Vinny at QB. Now,
when Sean watches this, he is going to be completely shocked by this.
How can you be shocked? They won 42. No, I'm looking at the wrong game.
6. They won by 6 or 8 points, whatever it was.
They beat them 34-26.
Yeah.
So what? That's 8 points.
Yeah.
They beat them. So, I mean, and Jules was there actually. It wasn't yet the series of games that he missed when was replaced by Boutte. It's Diamond Bougie's clicking now. In their last 3 games, not including. Let's go back 5 games. So March 23rd, 42 points. March 24th, 40 points. March 30th, 45 points. April 6th, 40. And Wednesday night against Blue Chips, 39. So the team's scoring 40 or more points. I think the best quarterback that gives them the chance to do that for Backyard Bullies is Vinny Galano. And that's not likely going to be the case. Probably, I mean, that's the way the team's running. Sean's there. If Sean is there, he's going to throw. But, maybe they sneak in a couple of double quarterback plays throughout certain drives. just to mix it up and confuse the Diamond Bougie defense, open up some holes. I don't know. Diamond Bougie's clicking right now, and Jerome Hovington has been taking over the reins as the defensive play caller on this team, and since then, I'll go back to those same games: 26, 25, 33, 20, and 24. So they're averaging about 25 points against and 40 points for. So a 15 margin of points of victory here. So they're doing things right since the middle of March here.
All right, on to 4A and what we have lined up. They haven't played in over, I think now. Well, they played on Monday, so they're not going to play until the following Wednesday. So they'll have about a 9-day layoff here. All the higher seeds won. Not much of an upset here. Rather easy wins for most of these teams. Mofo's winning by 4. Half Centers FC beating Nomads by 4. But otherwise, every other game was double digits.
Yeah.
Balls Deep winning by 8, by 18 included. Okay, so let's look at the quarterfinal matchups here. Balls Deep, Bet Boost Ballers. Call me crazy, but I think Bet Boost Ballers should be the favorite to win this football game over Balls Deep.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just because they have the visitor tag next to their name, I think BBB is the favorite in this game. I don't think that's a controversial statement. I don't see the controversy.
No, but you know how it is. Oh, you're picking against us. Look, I think Bet Boost Ballers has a good core. They've really figured it out. Caleb Faulkner is a guy that plays quarterback for Concordia. He's figured out this game. I mean, he's a quarterback at the elite level of university, and he's played very well for them. You look at Santino Sparanga. We know him
That's
very well.
the difference.
Oriola, AB, Ahmed Bubukar. Dante Sparanga, Noah Sassy. You see, there's a theme. They're all Concordia guys, so they know each other and how they operate and stuff. And I just think now, for where they're at in the season, they were a little bit stumbling out of the gate. Remember, they did lose by 1-2 Balls Deep back on January 29th, which is 3 months ago. But
Right.
since then to where they are now, a completely different team. Bet Boost Ballers playing a Balls Deep team that has had some hiccups going towards the playoff run that they're in right now.
Yeah, and we're just gonna open up that game page because it doesn't look. Oh no, Santino was there, so that's interesting. So he was getting away. He being Justin Weir was getting away from the pressure of Santino Sparagno because Santino tallied 18 sacks this year in Division 4A, and Justin Weir loves to move around in the pocket, buy time. Ran for three times for 11 yards in that game. That's another matchup of rusher quarterback. That's going to be tough for Justin. He's going to force him to become a pocket passer, and he's not necessarily that. He's best when he's scrambling and off of broken plays.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Justin Weir does magical acts of ad-lib, right? Improvising on the run. And if they're going to do it against Bet Boost Ballers, that's going to be the key for them. There's that picture of Bet Boost Ballers. Blue-collar, edgier team in terms of how they want to play. But I just think that Bet Boost Ballers is a team that I would trust more than Balls Deep at this point. And, for Balls Deep, they might pull off the win. If they do, congrats to them. Full props. They've earned that. But
yeah.
This is a definitely tougher game in this situation here. Now, the next game we're looking at that is going to catch people's attention is LOE against Mofos.
Mm-hmm.
The lone loss for LOE was against Mofos.
Yeah.
LOE, since that loss, went 2-2. Oh, sorry, they went 4-0. I beg your pardon. But two of those games were 1 point. Yeah, for those two of those games, I beg your pardon, were 1 point wins over Trap Stars and Backfield Penetration.
Yeah.
So could Mofos pull a rabbit again in their ability to perhaps go 2-0 against LOE on Monday night?
So, and this is crazy, but I didn't know he played one game, but the person with the most sacks on LOE was Luca Quinville, who played one game with them and had 4 sacks. Otherwise, the team had 1 sack on the season from Chris Vero. And the reason why I bring this up is because I saw what Tiemoko Sanogo did to West Island boys. Basically called all hooks and ran every second play. It was all hooks and or triple slants and run. All hooks or triple slants and run. And for the life of me, I don't understand, and I blatantly said it to some of the West Island boy players. Why are you not double rushing this guy? You have Julian McLaren Thompson and Ethan Adrian. You have two elite rushers, something that like no team has, and you're not double rushing him. It was 4th and 26. It was the classic Eagles 4th and 26. Had Tiemoko backed up on his own 1 yard line because on 3rd down, he threw the ball away and they called it intentional grounding, threw it to the stands. 4th and 26 from his own 1, and he got the first down. Not only did he get a first down, he got it all the way. He got a 43-yard run, brought it all the way down to the 3-yard line. They scored on 4th down and won the game over West Island boys. Why am I going crazy? LOE does not have a rusher to contain Tiemoko Sanogo. This is going to be the biggest critical key matchup that you can have, and the reason why potentially LOE can go out in their playoff run here.
Yeah, they've been hitting some turbulence the last few weeks. I mean, obviously they've landed the plane and with wins over Trap Stars and backfield penetration. That is, but I'll give you the NCAA example. So UConn won over Purdue in the men's final 2 weeks ago, and Dan Hurley, the head coach of UConn, said, "We said, all right, man, we'll give Zach Edey, the monster, his touches and his points, but we're going to shut down everyone else." Right? And they won. Blue Pen was perfected. If LOE is going to beat Mofos, you got to shut everyone down and let Timoko to beat you, Snogo to beat you with his ability. You make him one-dimensional, he's not going to beat you. Not going to beat you. So can they shut down everyone else and make their star quarterback the reason why they win that football game?
I have to disagree because I thought the same thing. I thought you just make him one-dimensional, and he is just a different athletic animal. He made Ethan Adrian look slow and look incompetent as a rusher, and he's one of the best in, I'd say, top 5 rusher in FPF now, and it destroyed their. I'm at a loss for words. It was back on Monday. I saw this, and I'm still at a loss for words. And if Les Otaries Extrêmes are going to have a super specific game plan for him, have like 2 spies, maybe they even have to send 2 rushers in certain occasions. They're gonna have to throw the book at this guy and let him beat you with his arm. Let him beat you with his arm because he's not an accurate passer. And I say that in their last game against each other, he went 17 of 22. So maybe they, it's a hard game plan to defend. Maybe they did, drop 2 rushers or someone as a spy, but then that leaves someone open in coverage. And Sanogo, as inaccurate as I said he is, he can still hit a wide open guy if he's 7 yards of separation between a receiver and a defender. So anyways, look, it's gonna have to be they're gonna have to think about and game plan very well for what they saw last time against Mofos and what he's gonna present as a threat.
So tell me why Half Centers FC has a prayer to beat Trap Stars. I don't see it.
Because I'll tell you the prayer that was answered. Because Ryan McNally had 1 OC in the regular season and has now accumulated 2 OCs in the playoffs. So the Hail Mary and saving grace is that your OCs get reset after the 10-game regular season. So he only has 2. Had the 1 OC from the regular season counted, he would have a 1-week suspension and not be eligible to play in that game. sitting at 2 OCs. He better not take a third one because that would then suspend him one more week in the future if his team does advance. So having Ryan McNally there is a saving grace, because without him there, there was going to be no contest really.
Yeah, I can't see Half Centers FC pulling off the win over these guys. Trap Stars are just locked and loaded. Emotional loss for them against LOE to end off their year and left a bad taste in their mouths. But it's set up for them, man. Like it's set up for Trap Stars to come away to win the championship now. Ryan Garber has really played better now. Remember, they were misplaced as a team playing in a hard division, which he was not ready for, but they found the right spot now, and he's played better, more confident in his abilities. That defense, it may not be appealing, but Jordy Melnick is a phenomenal defense player who I think should get votes for Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not too sure if he's going to win or not, but I think he's played really well this year. But for Half Centers FC to win this football game, you mentioned McNally, Janai Lewis has got to play well. Zepatelli's got to play, beyond his strengths, and hopefully come away with a victory, and hope that Trap Stars trap themselves in their own game here and don't play well. And it's going to be doubtful, but again, it's been a long layoff for Trap Stars. But I just don't know if they have any weaknesses at this point in the season.
Yeah, and then, going off again on what Half Senders will need, they can't play like they did in the first 10 minutes of the game against Lightweight. They need to play more like the second half, where they were, down 20 or so points, maybe 12, and made a comeback. And I felt like once they kicked up the pace and kicked it into another gear, that they kind of had Lightweight on their heels, and Zepatelli looked like a much better quarterback. So he's going to need to set the tone from the beginning, set the pace, determine the pace, and get Trap Stars off their heels. Because when you have Will Sabag rushing you with not huffing and puffing out there, he picked up 12 sacks, 5 interceptions. He's someone that Zepatelli cannot be running around in the backfield against. He's going to have to stay away from Jordy Melnick. But, my God, Half Senders FC, they have as good as a top 3 as anyone in the division, right? In the names you said, Ryan McNally, Sam Mashtub, and Janai Lewis. So that's going to have to be their key to victory.
So the last game is Idaho UPenn's backfield penetration. Well, here's the thing, right? If Ronnie Isthmus gets contained, does Idaho have a chance to win this football game?
If he gets contained, then there's a chance. Yes. But that's a very tall task and tough assignment for anyone on Idaho. I'm not going to give the game plan away, but there is a game plan in place.
No one's watching this podcast. You can tell me right now. No one's going to care.
It's okay. I'll keep it secret.
Okay, so
I'll just say this. It goes 15. It might be a little bit of homework for the UWPIMs to do, but there's like 15 different reviews to go over.
Sure.
I'll just say it like that.
I'm sure you guys will have game film on Saturday morning to review those 15 scenarios. Okay, so if Baker Mayfield, Alessandro Barzoni has an average game, an average game, do they have a chance to win this football game?
Yeah. There's wait. Who has the chance? Who has the chance to win?
Backfield penetration.
There's a chance, yes, but I'd say the same thing. Like if he has an average game, then there's more of a chance that Idaho wins it. There's going to be a lot of points put up in this one. Yeah. I'm going to go with like 45-42, maybe 42-38 type of score line. I'm not sure in which direction, but the points are going to come not at a premium. They're going to be coming oozing out of everyone's veins. That's for sure.
It'll be fascinating, this game. I think it has a lot of points written all over it. 4B, Penetrators winning. Dak to the Future upset over Wolfpack. Fourth and Schlong, easy win over Voodoo and Ball Don't Lie over Team Sexy. So the quarterfinal matchups, Le Renard Vif, heavy favorites against Ball Don't Lie. Killer Rays against Dak to the Future. Pocket Rockets against Fourth and Schlong. And X-Men against Penetrators. Le Renard Vif, Ball Don't Lie, no question. On paper, LRV are massive favorites. I score kept their game recently. Not many weaknesses to exploit. And they have, I think, the right formula to win another championship in the last 3 FPF seasons.
Yeah, definitely they have the pieces to shut down what Ball Don't Lie do well offensively. So they're gonna kind of run over this quarterfinal matchup. There are some teams that can prove to be a worthy matchup for Les Renards Vifs. Of course, one of the ones that a lot of people are perhaps anticipating and kind of licking their chops for is a rematch of Les Renards Vifs X-Men. But even you saw a couple weeks back, Pocket Rockets were hanging around in their LRVs, still a step ahead. But maybe now that they have some intel on the Crazy Foxes, Pocket Rockets can maybe adjust. But again, Pocket Rockets first got to can't look past Fourth and Schlong here. So as we move to that game, Pocket Rockets, Fourth and Schlong, what do you think there?
GF Marquis played well this year. I think he's done a really good job for what he's brought to the team. Good core to work with. You're right. They took LRV to the distance. They did beat Fourth and Schlong by 9 earlier in the season on early February. And in that matchup that we saw that was played out with those two teams here, Justin Lerner was the quarterback in that game. It wasn't their day. And Fourth and Schlong is a team that has a lot of good chemistry. Guys who played high school ball, who grew up with each other in the Laval area, and know each other very well. And you look at this core group with what they have. They're good, underrated. No one's talking about them. And it wouldn't surprise me that they pull off the win over Pocket Rocket and get themselves into the Final Four because of their chemistry of not being under pressure, not feeling the pressure if their backs against the wall, if it does come up like that at some point during the game.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've won 8 games in a row. They're definitely a hot team in 4B. That game against Pocket Rockets is strange. Justin Lerner, 4 of 6, 82, 2 touchdowns. George Kutsukus, 4 of 7, 58 and 1. That Voodoo defense is not the Pocket Rocket defense.
Yeah.
And as well as George is doing quarterbacking there and kind of, didn't have much rust, or if any at all. 19 of 26, 194, 5 TDs, 0 INTs.
Right.
It's a better defense on the Pocket Rocket side, especially when you have Dabé Champagne lurking in the backfield. George has a good deep ball, but when you have a monster like that in the backfield, you can't test that too often, or else you risk the peril of an interception. And an interception, one, maybe you can get away with, but you cannot then therefore gift a second one. And I'm not saying that they're prone to throwing many interceptions and turnovers, but you have to be careful with the football. 5 touchdowns is that P's magic number, bringing back our old pal here. The gold standard of scoring 5 touchdowns in a playoff game. Minimum, right? That was always the caveat with P's thing. Is that you don't just need 5 touchdowns, you need a minimum of 5 touchdowns to win the game. So I think the first one actually to 6 touchdowns gets the win here, and I slightly favor Pocket Rockets for that.
Killer Rays, Dak to the Future. Dak to the future we haven't really talked about, but they're a good team. Love the long ball. Killer Rays, they've rebounded well from their spring season of last year to where they are now. Um, I think this could be a game that first 1-35 wins. But Killer Rays, they are humming along here, quietly going about with their business this season. 8-2 record. They put together a good core group to work with, and I think they have the right chemistry in place now to make a run. And I just think now with what they have, Tyler Gerber, we know him very well. He's the safety blanket for this team. Curtis Ryan's a touchdown maker along with Gerber, 27 touchdowns during the regular season. Their defense is stout, a lot of picks, a lot of sacks. If they're going to win this, if someone's going to beat this team, they got to kind of crack open this defense, which is very hard to penetrate given how well they played both sides of football this year.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you have to look at two games, one from each side. Killer Rays versus X-Men, 38-32 victory, and Back to the Future versus X-Men, 32-0 for X-Men. Just to get an indication of kind of a litmus test for both teams. Back to the Future, if they're sort of streaky. When Justin Gautier's on fire, he's hitting everyone, and they're able to put up 30 points and more. But if it's not going well, he can go ice cold.
Right.
And the thing is, you're either going to see an offensive shootout, a 40-35 kind of game, or you're going to see a blowout, because the Killer Rays offense is a lot more consistent than what Back to the Future can bring. Back to the Future can put up points. The potential is there,
Right.
but they're a bit more sporadic on offense, and it's not game in, game out, consistent 40 points. It's 40, then 0, then 40, then 20, then 38, then 15, and it's just a little too variable for me. Whereas Killer Rays, they have a consistent product that they put on the field, and Tyler Gerber, like you said, is usually the beneficiary. Teams look at that, they take that away, but then, like you said, they have the Curtis Ryans, the Corey Bianchis, even Aiden Ladiviat and Donovan Hines as a 2, 3, 4, and even Chris Genio as a fifth option. That's pretty solid depth.
Last game, X-Men Penetrators. This has a spicy appeal to it. We all want to see LRV versus X-Men for sure, but there's still plenty of racetrack to go here. I don't think the Penetrators are the underdogs in this game. I really don't. But Smina Gautama about it, he goes, they're a good team. They're not going to be easy to beat. And I think back to Penetrators and their history of playoff runs that they've had against a youthful, vibrant, tigerish like X-Men roster here. This can definitely be one play or two plays that can define this matchup in the long term of how this plays off for either side.
Yeah, I mean, what X-Men have over Penetrators, I wouldn't say height. I think that goes the way of Penetrators, but X-Men have that lateral speed and that shiftiness that Penetrators just are lacking one step. Usually they have the upper hand over certain teams, but as they've been climbing up the divisions, that gap narrows. And I'd say that lateral speed and quickness and ability to make guys miss goes the way of X-Men. Noah Swaminidan is just going to have to be smart with the football, and he has been, right? 27 TDs, 0 INTs, 0 interceptions in the season. Daniel Devine, not any worse. 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. So whether it's Noah or Dan throwing the ball, and again rushing as well is a big component. By rushing, I mean running. 200 yards for Noah, 5 touchdowns. Dan Devine, 151 and a touchdown. So they're picking up first downs every run, 6 touchdowns between them. Right. They don't make many mistakes, and I don't anticipate them throwing many risky balls downfield for the towers on Penetrators to even get a sniff at that ball. They're going to dump it off and let their playmakers do their thing.
Okay, on to 5A, Eggs. We got a lot to cover here, man. Oh,
Yeah, I
a
know.
lot to cover here, man. It's we'll try to plow through this here and get going here as we move along here in 5A. Okay, so we'll do a quick preview for each of these games because there's 8 now in divisional playoffs as 5A gets underway this weekend. LPC, Rude Boys. LPC have found the right tonic. They look much more comfortable and relaxed. Rude Boys, I'm concerned about their offense. Don't know if they can score more than 25 in a game. Yeah. I think LPC are the favorites in this matchup.
Favorites by like 13 points, maybe 15 for the mercy rule. Just LPC. Nicely, I saw a team signing up for Division C. That'll be a challenge for them come spring, but right now they look to be like one of the strongest teams in Division 5A, and this is just victory one on their playoff run.
Shopaholics in and out. Shopaholics, great regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I do like their core in place. I do like what they've built up here. I do, they've kind of built it up slowly from spring season last year to where they are now. Bringing on a guy like Matt Kirak has done wonders for them in terms of how they look at games and approach it now. And like he led the team with 50 catches, right? And Daniel Spina has been a good quarterback this year. The other defense. This might be a game where I think they're definitely having favorites over in and out.
Yeah, just now, like you said, the experience is a huge component of this game. In and out have experience, but it's lower end experience. They have the experience of really having tough seasons in Division 4 last season, and now they're doing it the proper way. They're starting backwards, sort of, so to speak, in Division 6 and Division 5 here with their in and out version of the team. Strapaholics did it, from the bottom, and now they're here, so to speak.
From Drake, yes, of course.
Yes.
Nighthawks against Bandits. Nighthawks went 8-2. This is the first really kind of like the Mengoose, right? In Division 2, where now, where they are no longer the chasers, they're now the hunted, right? They're no longer the hunted in the situation right now. They're no longer the hunters. Bandits can pull off the win. I really, as much as our boy on the Bandits thinks I'm a hater of the team, and of course Emil Scaff, I think they have a chance to beat Nighthawks, because Nighthawks have not been in the playoffs before, and this is their first time in the playoffs, and they have had real adversity. Can they handle the adversity? I don't think they can.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be as good of a season as I believe it is Fabrice Rabia. 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. As good of a season as he had in the regular season. You look at some of the defenses they played. Ski wasn't great. Pasta at the time in February wasn't there. The Vultures defense was susceptible. Step Brothers struggled on defense all year. When they played Strapaholics, they only put up 14, right? So now you're going to be facing those type of teams in Strapaholics, and Bandits is a decent defense.
Right.
So and all to say, back to my original point, is that the playoffs are another season, and the jitters get there for the first 5 minutes. So a poor start from Nighthawks and Francis Rabial, Fabrice Rabial, could put a hole big enough that they may not be able to climb out of it. That will depend on how Bandits take over the game and control it with Emil Scaff at center.
Ducks, the Tory CIG. I've been Ducks caught my eye from way back in week 2 of the season up in Loyola. They really impressed me. I know they've kind of tapered off a little bit in terms of the style that they have, but they're a good team here. Antoine Chabot has put together a good season this year as a quarterback. They have bounce attack on offense with the receiving core. I think they had like 4 or 5 guys that had 5 touchdowns or more during the regular season, I believe.
Yeah.
They are a team that is, I would buy their stock now because no one's talking about them, and they maybe get themselves to the Final Four. once the dust settles, by the time we hit that portion of the playoff run by next week.
Yeah, they could. The thing is that notorious CIG team, they were a little hot and cold, but when you get a hot George Spano, you're making a lot of tasty food, so to speak. So it really depends which notorious CIG comes out.
Right.
Of course, we know during team that's going to be a problem for the Ducks. They do have the athleticism somewhat to keep up with him. Of course, you mentioned him as a quarterback, but Antoine Chabot as a defender, very underrated, very good. He's potentially gonna line up and man up Joey. Again, speed for speed. Joey has pretty much anyone in Division 5A, has a step above them. So maybe a lot of the offense is gonna go through him. I don't know. This one, I'm really not sure. It's two quarterbacks that need more playoff experience, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one comes down to the last drive, maybe a game that came down to converts. That's my feeling on this one.
Well, a game that I don't think will come out to converts is Pastor Arabiat and Thunder Buddies. I don't know where the hell Pastor Arabiat's going to find points against a very stout Thunder Buddies team. Not many holes in Thunder Buddies, I find. I think they may not be the most appealing team of driving a Ferrari, but they are a good core group here. And they put up a lot of points, Iggy, almost to 34 points per game. And I'm not too sure if Pastor Rabiat has 34 points to score in the next few games because of how they play their style of offense with what they go with the team in yellow.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Nick Delisi, as good as, what was it, Tier 4 must have been in the Fall Cup, looked good. I think Div 5A is a little, it's a lot better. You see a lot of great defenses, and he saw that against this very Thunder Buddies team a couple weeks back, April 8th, 10 days ago, as of today, against these very Thunder Buddies, and was only able to put up 18 against, a somewhat decent offense is going to be close. You still need, usually, again, the 5 touchdown magical number of TDs to minimum to win a game. You look at the scoreline against Thunder Buddies, 35-18, right? The 5 touchdowns were there on the Thunder Buddy side and not on the Pasta side. So it's going to be really tough. To me, this one's a Thunder Buddy. Again, how much was that victory? 20 18. Less 3. 17. So that's the margin here, 16.5 for me.
Okay, Sleeping All-Stars, Ski, a complete mismatch. I don't know what the hell Ski is going to do for quarterback. I don't know what they're going to do for points. Just like Pastor Rabiat, a lot of broken down parts in their offense. Sleeping All-Stars, the name is perfect for who they are. No one really talked about them, but now who they are, and I think they can run it against these guys rather easily.
Yeah, this seems really talented. I saw a few of their games, whether it's quarterback Samuel Cote, run or pass. Yes, he can throw the occasional, what are you throwing that ball for interception, but for the most part, the receivers, Coslins Clairvaux, Frederick Dodd, Sam Omombo, Judge Jeffrey, and I'm saying offensively, but honestly, it's two ways. Both of all 4 of those guys, 2 ways, not 4 ways. I don't know what I'm saying now. Offensively and defensively, they are literally that, sleeping all-stars, and maybe we slept on them all year. Well, let's see how far their playoff run can go. But yeah, I see it starting with a victory over the Ski.
So Vice City saved their season when they took out the top seed, Le Petit Carotte, that got them in the playoffs pretty much. And they have had a good run to the end of the season. Now they get West Island Habibis. I think Vice City are the favorites. They hate when I say that about them. They go, stop talking about us in a positive light. We love being underdogs. We want you to talk negatively about us. But no, I think they have less questions to worry about going up against the Habibis team that I just don't know what their DNA is as a football team.
Man, the thing is, Jeff Taye, 24 touchdowns, cool. 24 interceptions, holy.
Even better.
One for one. That is just not a good ratio. I mean, look, a lot of them came in week 1 where it was 1 TD, 7 INTs, kind of the opposite of what you're looking for. And even in game 2, after 2 games, he was 2 TDs, 10 INTs. So it got better as the season progressed. But in the very game against the West Island Habibis, 13 of 22, so completing 60% of his passes, 120, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was enough to get the win, 19-18. But yeesh, I don't know how confident you feel going into that game if you open up that box score. The thing is, Nick DeMalo didn't do much better. He did slightly better, but the defense couldn't get enough. Intercepting Jeff Taye. Nick DeMalo got one, but Max Bura, equally as athletic as anyone on the field at any given game, was able to get one off of Nick DeMalo. So someone's gonna have to come up with that second or third interception to really cement. This one can go. This one's a coin flip for me. I don't know about you.
I'll tell you what. What isn't a coin flip? Hail Marty's, Rico Riders.
Okay.
Marty's won by like 40 against these guys.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember this game. Yes.
Yeah, and
these
got a bad matchup, Rico Riders. I think anyone else, they'd be competitive and maybe win, but this might be an avalanche of points again for Hail Marty's.
Yeah, I don't know what I usually have an answer. Rico Riders just didn't have an answer that night. I remember that they were demoralized. I don't know. I don't know how you feel good coming into this game. And if you're Hail Marty's, I don't know how much more confident you could have been coming into the playoffs.
No.
I don't know. Maybe jeez. Maybe you underestimate your opponent and Rico Riders, you throw anything you can at them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Did I say I don't know?
A few times in this
I don't know.
here. Okay, what I do know, we're on to 5B. A lot to look forward to. Divisional playoffs begin. They'll get their first window of games here. Win Diesel against Wild West Wranglers. This is like feeding the prey.
Ducks,
Like you're being slaughtered. Like you're being presented as slaughter towards Win Diesel. I just don't know where Wild West Wranglers can keep up with Win Diesel. I think Win Diesel's going to just toy with this team, and literally, they ran him off 40-9 back in mid-March.
Yeah, I could see the same thing happening.
It's sort of like that. Not to belittle Wild West Wranglers, but sort of like that. That power college football program playing like a Division II team week 1. It could get ugly quick and early.
Yeah. We can go on to the next game.
Okay, Ramfins, best logo in FPF.
Maybe.
It is. Come on, man.
It's an okay logo. It's good. It's good. But the jerseys aren't the jerseys are average at best. The logo is good. The jerseys are
logo.
The color is faded. Come on.
That's the beauty of it, man. It's like in 20 years from now, Ramfins are going to play. They're going to bring back the logo. I remember there's a cool retro logo they had, and it's a cool logo. Okay, so they got hooligans coming up. I'll be honest, I didn't see much hooligans this year. Surprisingly, in the long length of games I've saw this season.
Yeah.
But I do know this team fairly well because of who's on the team: Michael Fafard, Danny Coulombe, Philippe Pelletier, who I know played for quarterback for Champlain. Do we give him a chance to pull off the win over Ramfins?
There's a chance. Danny Coulombe, I've seen him play. I've played against him in past seasons. Very, very good receiver. This is a guy that could probably play Div 4, could probably play Div 3. So, if you have a Div 3, borderline Div 3, Div 4 player on a Div 5 offense, That could be a problem. However, you're playing against the Duminil brothers, and those are as athletic as a duo as you have. Chad rushing and Jesse as a safety. That to me can absolutely neutralize what Danik can do offensively. It's gonna have to.
Oh, did we lose Iggy? Iggy, your voice is your mic is off now, Iggy. Oh, we'll get Iggy back here. Iggy's unfortunately his screen is disconnected here, so we'll have to get him back. All right, so I'll continue on with the preview here. Packers against Threat Level Midnight. Threat Level Midnight has been outclassed in terms of where they are as a team this year. I don't think they have enough to match up with Packers, who I saw play earlier in the year against Win Diesel. Win Diesel again. It's like feeding the slaughtered goat to this line in Win Diesel, but Packers are going to do it this season. As Iggy is back in,
I think so.
Yes. All right, we're an hour and 40 into the show here, Iggy. Oh, your mic is off again,
Jesus.
Iggy.
You hear me still? Because I can't hear myself.
There you go.
No. I'm on delay now.
You're on delay. I can see it from the mic here, Iggy. What is going on here, Iggy? Why are you on delay now? We're an hour 40 into the show. How are you still on delay?
Keep going.
Okay, I'm going to preview the other games and get you back in here, okay? So let me get back to previewing the games by myself as I carry the show once again. So, look, I think right now for Packers, Noah Delulu-Langer, who I know very well from Champlain, has had a really good season. And now you're playing Threat Level Midnight, which, again, for them this season, gave up 247 points, which isn't much, right? But I think Noah Langer can really make a big impact. Iggy, you're back in now.
I should be good now. Yes.
All right, perfect.
There we go.
So just to give you a heads up, I previewed the Packer game against
Did you?
Against Threat Level Midnight. But we'll go back to your previous point of what we were talking about before you went off air.
Yes, it was just that it's gonna really depend on the Ramfins, their second defender, if they can properly cover and defend Michael Fafard and even Sebastien Fafard, I believe, snapper for the team.
Okay, I did preview the Threat Level Midnight game. Not many points given up this year, which is good for them. But Packers with Noah Delulu-Langer, who I know very well from Champlain, he's going to slice open them like a surgeon and open up that heart and rip up the valves to the heart of this team here. I think this is going to get ugly early in this matchup, and I think Threat Level Midnight has to pray to the football gods that somehow they can come up with a bounce to their way to win this football game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think problem here for Packers. It's going to be more, even then, it's just how many turnovers is Packers going to get on Threat Level Midnight, right? With Jonathan Lemieux hasn't had a great season, right? 2 TDs for every 1 INT, barely hit 1,000 yards. Only played 6 games though, so actually, I thought it was all done in 10. So a little confusing in terms of who's going to be starting here. You know what? Let me take a quick look, see if Joe Lemieux ended the season. Yeah, he just wasn't there for the 2 games in March. All in the same week as well. So he was there for the final games. But again, those final games, Shea Benny Express, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Better against Parlay Tilters, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But again, those were both losses. So, and they haven't won since March 9th. So a month and a half without a victory. So 5% chance of winning this game for Threat Level Midnight.
That's it. 2.5% for them.
Yeah.
Pack a Punch 10-0 against Les Sacrificeurs. Another slaughter right here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's
I
bad for business not to talk highly of these teams, but The only high point I can say is that Pack a Punch might drop 40 on these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think these two teams actually know each other. They're sort of a mix of the 5A team as well with Nighthawks and even in Division 6. But yeah, this was a tough season for Les Sacrifiés d'Eux. Not tough, but just not a great season. Fabrice Tremblay, 17 TDs, 11 INTs. Man, you're gonna need like You're gonna need a third of your touchdowns from the season in just one game for a chance to win this game. You need like 6 touchdowns to beat up what Pack a Punch can present here, and I just don't see that happening.
No, of course not. All right, here's a good game here. Maccabees, Shea Benny Express, they tied. One of a couple ties that Maccabees suffered this season.
Okay.
About 2 months ago, and they know each other very well. They know how this is going to go. And I look at Shimi Khan's and how he is. He's got to step up. He's got to show me something now at this point of the season here, because he's got dudes to work with on both sides of the football here. And if they can't score more than 25, they're in trouble.
If they can't score more than 25, they're in trouble. I don't think that's the case, because I think they win the game if they score 25. So I don't think that's necessarily true. I think like 18 points, maybe 20 is what Shea Benny Express can put up against this Maccabees defense. So as soon as Maccabees hit 21 or more comfortable. I'm more comfortable saying 25. They have a 80% chance of winning the game. I think Shimmy Khans doesn't have to complicate this. He's just got to get a good mix of short, intermediate, and deep. Makers do the dirty work and do the dancing. And I don't think necessarily Shea Benny's Express's defense can come away with 2 turnovers, because that's what they're going to need in order for them to get a sniff at a victory here.
Le Tondeurs against Toon Squad. I've been on the LT squad for a while. I love Toon Squad as well. Don't get me wrong, they're my dudes. But I look at LT and how they've been playing. They are a machine in offense. They figured it out. And I said to you, Iggy, back in early January, once they figure out their offense, they're going to blow up teams. And they had the first 2 losses against Betway, and they lost to Win Diesel. Yeah. But since then, man, like they can score 30 points on you, and they've done better. They've become much more dynamic as an offense. And Raphael Dufort has played better and has figured out the game a lot easier than before. For Toon Squad, I just don't know where they're going to get the stops on defense. I worry a little bit about them on defense here. And look, this is a team that has kind of stumbled into the playoffs here. They lost, I think, 3 in a row since mid-March, and that's not really good for the confidence booster trying to get into the playoffs and make some noise.
Yeah, I see this a little similar to their last game of the season against Ramphins, where they lost 26-20. This being Toon Squad, of course. I agree with you. I think they can put up points, even though it's been a bit of a struggle recently. Putting up 19, 12, and 20 in their last 3. I can see them putting up roughly similar numbers in the game against Tondeurs, and I see Tondeurs putting up again, sort of like the Shea Benny Express Maccabees kind of thing. That if they put 25. Maybe it's one more. Maybe it's if they put 26. I don't see Toon Squad coming away with a victory. Maybe 26-26 tie and it goes into overtime, but that would be a best case scenario. Because when Toon Squad is good, they're good. But when they're not feeling confident, it doesn't look pretty, and that's kind of the last three games what you've seen. And Tondeurs are the team that can sniff a team that's not confident and put the fire out on a team rather quickly.
Okay, so this game is very unique because Top G haven't played since end of March. So they will go
What?
almost.
Oh,
Yeah,
March. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
they would have gone almost 3 weeks without playing a game, and they almost blew that game. By the way, it was crazy how that played out. I was at Hebert on that Saturday night. Probably tilters. I like them a lot. I think they're more structured.
Yes.
I think they're more relaxed. I think Top G thrives on emotion, on big plays. But in the playoffs, I don't know where the big plays are going to come for Top G.
Yeah. Parlay tilters. What was Glory Boys was the ex franchise name.
Yes.
For the most part. Yeah. Defensively, they've generally been a good defense, and the lack of organization, they're gonna sniff out blood. And maybe come away with 2, maybe 3 interceptions, and if they can do that and throw Top G against their own selves and kind of cause internal mayhem, then it's lights out for Top G. If Top G can hit those big plays, then there's a chance that they stay competitive in the game. But I'm leaning for the parlay here.
Yeah. I'm not buying Top G. It's I don't know. They don't impress me. They don't impress me at all. I don't think they have enough to come away with victory here. Last game, Betway Bandits, Green Monster. So I believe Tyler told me that their team might be depleted a little bit here. Guys are going on vacation, I think, or have other out of town work obligations. But we know this Green Monster team fairly well, Iggy. I mean, Darnell, Kevis Riley, we know very well. We know Patrick Jazzon very well. And those two guys alone could be a massive difference in trying to win a playoff game or two.
Yes, and that Green Monster, we've said it, stifling defense, and Betway Bandits are your run and gun offense when it's going well.
And they beat Green Monster, by the way, by 6 points. So just to give you a heads up.
Right, 19-13. So that kind of shows me kind of exactly what I'm expecting out of this is a low scoring game, and Green Monster just needs to be able to put up enough. I mean, this is an obvious statement, but put up enough points. If we take a look at how well they did offensively this year, Jason D'Souza, 26 TDs, not bad, but 10 INTs or 9, just under, also not bad. But if you're throwing nine INTs, you got to be throwing 40 to 45 touchdown passes.
Right.
Maybe I'm a little, Division 2, 3, 4 heavy. And maybe that's not as bad in Division 5B, but still, for me, that looks like a 2.5 to 1 TD to INT ratio, and I know that's not good enough for Division 5B. You need to be looking at a 3 to 1 during the regular season, but by come playoff time, you need a 4 to 1 ratio. So he's gonna have to score 4 touchdowns to get a comfortable win, maybe 3. And Betway's Bandits defense is good enough to not allow 3 or 4 touchdowns against Green Monster. Still, I can see very similar game to the regular season game, 19-13, but I don't know which way. It could go Betway's way or GM's.
All right, Div 6. Broke it down to 2, Div 6 and 6D. Demons took out Cavalier de Rohan by 5. Towers FT took out McGill Swim Team by 20. The Super Turbo Navette, big win over Queens, no surprise, by 24. And All Ball taking out the Mortadels by 12. So we have our quarterfinal matchups. Skull against Towers FT. Pitches against the Super Turbo Navette in a rematch from the regular season. Fire and Blood against Demons. Meat Fillers and All Ball. Skull, Towers FT. I know Brent Bakken was a little bit leery about Skull during the regular season, not really high on them. But could we give Towers FT maybe a chance? Because he did lose to them by 19 points by a big one, 21 points during the regular season.
Skull lost to Towers FT by 21?
Towers FT. Lost by
Yeah.
21.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I mean, great win by Towers FC over McGill Swim Team in round one, but that's they're not at that level. They're not at the Skull level. Skull has a deeper understanding of the game. Yeah, this is just Skull's game to lose. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Skull. Sorry, I'm so tired from today. The Skull adversity will only happen in the semifinals and who they get at that
Yeah.
point, right? In the recent.
Yes.
So we don't know who they're going to play yet.
Yeah.
So I think they're okay. I think they'll get by Towers FT. By the grace of the Div 6 gods, they avoid playing Mortadels or McGill Swim Team. They got the weakest of the bunch, in theory, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be okay for that. And I think Skull will have a tough round in the semifinals, and they should win this game rather easily over Towers FT on Sunday, which I believe is on my field. Pigeons, Super Turbo Navette. I think you know how high I am on the Pigeons and how I love this team. But they got wrecked, Super Turbo Navette by 25 against Pigeons. Pigeons are very hot coming into the playoffs to go 9-1 during the regular season. If Super Turbo play like they did 2.5 months ago, they will have no chance to beat Pigeons on Sunday.
You mean the opposite? Oh no, because they lost. Yeah. I'm just opening up that game, and yeah, you know what? I'm not surprised that the Pigeons defense got 4 interceptions on Rafael Caron of Super Turbo Navette, because that defense is a stifling one. I'm telling you, I said this last week. That looks like a Division 5 defense where they're shooting gaps and undercutting routes, and they're taking advantage of bad deep balls that are thrown, but instead of dropping it or not coming away with a 50-50 ball, it's a team that comes away with the turnovers. So I'm not surprised they got 4 interceptions in the regular season matchup. I could see another 3 or 4 going the Pigeons' way, and then that offense, that Pigeon Blue offense, can score in a quick strike or in 2-3 plays. So Super Turbo Navette are going to be chasing a lot in this game, and that's going to just lead to more riskier throws and more interceptions. This one could be another 31, maybe not 31-6, but maybe 31-18, where Super Turbo might get 2 touchdowns more instead of 2 interceptions, but I still think Pigeons are a big favorite in this one.
So the best game probably of the bunch, Fire and Blood Demons. Both teams were excellent. Demons beat Fire and Blood by 1 during the regular season. It might come down to converts on who wins this football game.
Yeah, could even be a overtime shootout kind of convert game. If, by the way, if you're in the playoffs, you might want to read up on the playoff overtime rules. It will be explained to you by the refs in a brief minute and a half before the overtime session starts. But definitely take a look at the rule book on how the overtime playoff format works, because it's not the same as the regular season. So definitely take a look at that in the rule book if you're still alive in the playoffs. But for Fire and Blood and Demons here, yeah, this is a great matchup. These are 2 teams that have played a couple seasons now. In FPF, they have a better understanding of the game. Fire and Blood, like I said, coming down, kind of going the untraditional route to playing FPF, going from Div 4 to Div 5 and now having a Div 6 team. Demons gonna always staying in that Tier 4 Div 6 Div E bracket, and but they've gotten and made a switch to quarterback at this year that's really helped there. They kind of have pieces in the right places right now. So I'm gonna say I won't pick a winner necessarily, but I could see this being like a 24-21 where kind of game where the defense is on the final drive makes a stop, preventing the other team from getting the victory.
Meat Fillers, pardon me, against All Ball. They played each other. Fillers won by 6, but this All Ball team, I don't think they have a chance against Meat Fiddlers. I think our boys, Manny Bazogis and Leo Demakos and the crew here might be far too rich in taste, playing an all-ball team that, were competitive during the regular season. They had a good start to the year, but kind of wheels came off the car midway through the point of the regular season. I don't know where all ball can win this matchup because right now, Meat Fillers look like they're locked and they're loaded, right, to have a big run in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. And just, Meat Fiddlers, like I said, experience is huge, and that's a team that has a ton of it. And Manny Bazogis has just gotten better and improved at the quarterback position. He waited and intentionally did not throw in the fall so that his rating would not go up, very kind of smartly, so that he could have one more season in Division 6. And it's proven to be the right recipe and just the start to his playoff run. Playoff jitters, he's gonna have to get over those as soon as the just get that first pass, second pass completed and ease himself into the game. But this should be a 13-point kind of victory for Meat Fiddlers.
Okay, 6D, free agent squad mutation. This could be the best chance for our boy PC Del Reese to win a championship in FPF finally. Probably missed the cutoff line for Div 6 playoffs, but here they are, 6D, probably one of the favorites playing a mutation team that's decent. But I think free agent squad has far too much going in their favor of how they built this team up until now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This one's actually a little tricky. Mutation, I think, is a good matchup for. I both good matchups for each other. Actually, I think Mutation have the athletes to defend what free agent squad present, because for a free agent squad, this is a pretty good set of pretty good set offensively and giftedly athletic individuals.
Right.
But I think Mutation have the guys to not necessarily shut down, but to really contest on every ball that is thrown. So it's gonna really come down to Tyler Stewart, as it usually does. It comes down to how well the quarterback can protect the football and drive the field, hit deep balls when they're wide open. Take everything that they've learned from Eagle and Peas and try and put their best performance out there. When they've done that, they've looked unstoppable. But I think Mutation is throw a lot of man, and it's going to be a lot of game planning, in-game adjustments. And I think free agent squad is more than capable of coming away with those adjustments. So it's going to be a very, very interesting matchup for sure.
Speakeasy, hottest team I find in Div 6. Chamonix Chodes. I think Speakeasy with the Richard boys and how they had this team playing really well. They peaked at the right time. Score kept a bunch of their games towards the end of the season. They looked really good in defense, and their offense is maybe unorthodox, but it's efficient. I think they have win written all over this game if they play like they've done so, or they've done the last few weeks coming into this playoff matchup.
Yeah, you mentioned Speakeasy really went on a run there. Just to quantify it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-1 in their last 8 games to end the season. Yeah, I think it's going to be defensively. Can they stop Jonathan Botazi of Chamonix Chodes? It's going to have to be Vincent Richard, right? Right? Had 31 tackles, 15 INTs. 4 of them went back for 6. And then Laurent Philippe Saint-Onge with another 4. So can they really disrupt kind of the wide receiver 1 and heaviness that came out of Chamonix Chodes? It was Jonathan Botazi with almost 800 yards, 799, and 23 touchdowns. Is there going to be, if they take him away, is there going to be enough in Elias Houdini and Jonathan Danessa for that Chamonix Chodes offense to be able to put up points?
No fly zone, show me TDs. Show me them TDs. Sorry, I always lose track. I was thinking about the old team from FPF back in the day. So I look at no fly zone. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not really like all in on this team right now. They might be offended by what I have to say here, but I don't know if they are going to really be competitive in terms of being a player contender in this situation right now. I think about no fly zone and how they were during the regular season, given that they're 7-3 in a very deep division of fiddlers, pitchers, and turbo not vet. So really, are they the best team after those three teams are in that upper playoff bracket? I'm not too sure. I don't think so. And their offense really lacks anything, only scoring less than 19 points a game, which is not going to cut it for me at this point in the regular season into the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough for them. The offense, I saw improvements, slight improvements throughout the season. Show me them TDs. They've, I mean, I think both teams have played equally as long, but show me them TDs having two teams, right? With the Rico Riders sort of franchise playing here in Division 6, have just shown more offensively than what No Fly Zone has. I think both teams defensively can get stops. I think Show Me Them TDs is a team that's more likely to put up 4 touchdowns on the board. So, yeah, that's going to be tough for No Fly Zone, but there's a chance they do win. There's a chance.
Salt and Pepper, they finished 7-3. They get Cheat Squad, a team that went 7-3 themselves, so identical records. Cheat Squad, look, we spoke about this team during the regular season. I like them a lot. I really do. I think they figured it out. Will Gillespie is a good RPO type of quarterback. Can kill with his legs, as he's done during the regular season. They have a good bounce on offense here. And I think that they are probably the favorites, even though they're the quote-unquote lower seed in this matchup.
Yeah, this one's tough. I actually tend to prefer the stat line of Kyle Fulkerson of Salts and a Pepper. 1,500 yards, 41 TDs, 12 IN is a very good season in Division 6. That is good, and granted, I don't love the 50% completion percentage, but, and I'm just going to double check, I believe it's his first full season throwing. No, he threw in the Fall Cup as well. So clearly, from 8 games to 10 games, throwing almost the same number of interceptions and almost doubling his touchdown totals. So he's clearly taken the next step in reading defenses and playing the quarterback position. And I will always take a pocket passer over a RPO style. Now, Division 6 allows you that flexibility because usually you just can outrun a rusher coming at you. But Michael Mancini, 9 sacks. I don't know if he's the right guy to. He's a good rusher, but I think what William Gillespie presents as a runner and buying time in the backfield is might be a problem for Salts and a Pepper. I think it's a very fun, very very even and close game. 1-point victory for whoever wins this one, 1 or 2 points.
35 plus legends quickly here, Iggy. Bearskins, Team Ethnic Senior, Pacemakers, Everything Hurts. I feel like Bearskins are the favorites to run this and win this championship. I can't see Team Ethnic keeping up with them. I think Bearskins have a lot to work with. Pacemakers, Everything Hurts. Didn't see much of Everything Hurts this year. Pacemakers from afar. But that game has been more of a flip a coin and see who wins with the Makers and Everything Hurts.
Yeah, I don't think Pacemakers got a chance to see Everything Hurts with Josh Curry under center, and that really changed their offense and saved their season. So now Pacemakers might be a little caught off guard. So what's gonna be important for them are the halftime adjustments. But they do have the guys on defense to really make life difficult for Josh Curry. He hasn't really seen a defense like Pacemakers before, so right. it's interesting, but pacemakers are still my favorite. When you have Jason Rossi versus Josh Curry, that's a clear matchup that goes the pacemakers' way.
Co-ed 1. What if Argentina had beaten Le Porcinet? It would have flipped the whole diagram, into like chaos of the buys. But we have easy fun, IG team, party mix, kiss my end zone. You guys know each other very well. It's a smaller fraternity of co-ed 1 teams here.
Yeah.
Easy fun, IG team. If IG team can figure out how to close out a football game, they might give easy fun a real problem or two along the way.
Yeah, I mean, Rith at quarterback, after quarterbacking Division 1, co-ed 1 is 3 times as slow. And when the game slows down for you and you're able to buy time like he does, he has a great arm and his accuracy is not bad. It's not miles off. Mm-hmm. So when someone, it's hard to be, as a rusher, scrambling in the backfield, and as a DB trying to cover 8 to 10 seconds in the backfield. At one point someone's going to get open, and he has the ability to hit guys downfield, so it's going to be an slightly unorthodox style of play for easy fun to try and defend, but easy fun, that more traditional, somewhat traditional, at least for in their style of play. Again, Mo, answer the call. You got to answer the call.
I answer my cell phone.
It's me calling you.
Yeah, it is on the bat line.
Yeah, easy fun. It's going to be, can IG team come up with a stop, maybe 2 on easy fun, because Jeremy White has, whether it's male or female, he has all the receivers on the same page, and that's a really tough offense to stop. If they get 1 or 2 turnovers, maybe there's a chance that IG team can sneak out a victory. We know that we'll get to it in co-ed 2, but IG team 2 has been on a hot streak themselves. Maybe that carries over to the IG team in co-ed 1.
So Party Mix, Kiss Man Zone, they split the season series 1-1. Splitting hairs now with these two teams. You know very well. You're not there, are you, on Sunday?
I'm not there. Nope.
So is this a wash now? Is this a run for Party Mix to run it on you guys?
I think the 10 o'clock slot actually really helps Party Mix. When speaking with Jeremy Murphy, so they already know I'm not throwing. Had the game been earlier, Jeremy Murphy wouldn't have been present. Luckily for them, it's a 10 o'clock start, so he is there. Does that mean AJ Gomes is also there? I don't know. No, I like what Tam can bring to the Kiss My End Zone offense. Luckily, we were able to get Lori Willette enough games played because of her injury to her pinky. So that got her playoff eligible. That's a key factor for this Kiss My End Zone attack, especially on the female side of it. Both teams have a lot of talent. So it's going to be, a lot is going to come down to the quarterback play and which quarterback throws less interceptions. Francois, and that's the other thing. Who's quarterback for Party Mix? I think Francois Delaurier will be there with a 10 o'clock start. So if it is Delaurier versus Tam Villiedat, it's going to be a question of who throws less interceptions, and maybe the question that always lingers when Isaiah Allard is rushing, can he maybe get a key interception off of his telescopic arms, Mo, as you love to say.
Yeah, he's got some long arms, Isaiah Allard, that's for sure. So co-ed 2, games are done, so they're not going to play until next Sunday, the 28th, so they have a long layoff between games here. Just quickly here, just recap it, Eggs, with co-ed 2. You guys got skunked by IG Team 2, 27-28. Sorry, one less championship for you again.
Well. Yeah.
We'll pop some champagne balls for you losing again. Pass whooping, surprised by that. They manhandled Team Rocket, who demoralized Pick 6 last Sunday by 27.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than what the scoreline has indicated. But pass open with our boy C-Rev at quarterback, Chris Rive. They are locked and loaded, my friend, and they are running it right now.
Yeah, that's a scary team. For me, to me it was always the most complete co-ed team in co-ed 2. They still obviously they if they were during the regular season, they obviously still are now being in the semifinals.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised though that they won that big over Team Rocket. I thought they could have kept it close, but I'm not surprised by that scoreline. Again, like I said, with Rith in Co-ed 1 and playing here obviously in Co-ed 2, when you're playing in a higher division like C-Riv was in Div 2, man, the game slows down, and when you have anyone can make a play on that pass whooping offense with the receiver set that they have, they make his life even easier. So I'm not surprised by that. IG Team 2, great victory over Kiss My Christmas Balls. Again, when you are trying to cover 8-10 seconds in the backfield, that's really tough for any defense to do. And they were the better team that night. So kudos to them. You caught the Canicule Lords of the Field game, a 38-32 victory. Was it as close as the score suggests? I felt like Lords of the Field were trying to play catch up most of the night.
Yeah, no. The scoreline is very flattering towards Lords of the Field. The Vanny Peeps really played well. Athena Ryan had a really good game throwing the football.
Yeah.
She really was calm and composed in the pocket. Didn't really, wilt under pressure for what she did. Abid Larea is a really good player, next up-and-coming receiver for Vanier. He had a really strong game. Zeke Tied was a monster on both sides of the football here. They were the better team, but I think the biggest question mark now will be Nellis Jacobs and what could happen. I can't say what's going on right now, but he did have a bunch of OCs and UR in that football game, so I'm not too sure if he will be available for the next game. If he's not, that's a big blow because he is definitely a good defender for this team. So I'm not too sure how this is going to play out for them moving forward, but we'll have to find out if there is sanctions put on him for what he did getting kicked out of the game late in that matchup. Y&Y, they end Fit Squad's Cinderella run, winning by 2. Look, Y&Y, they are the favorites probably in Co-Ed 2 with what they've built up here, and they had a close one against a very feisty Fit Squad roster.
It was. I believe this came down to Fit Squad scoring a touchdown and going for 2, coming away empty-handed on that conversion, and essentially first down iced the game for Y&Y. Watching over from the middle of Laval, they didn't really. The thing ultimately that this game came down to is that Fit Squad didn't have an answer for Corey Williams. He was just, whether it was in and outs, deep balls, they just didn't have an answer for his offensive output. And then just the converts, right? Both of them going to Corey Williams' way. That was the difference in this game. Fit Squad put up a great fight. Good season for them. They turned around after a slow start to the season. But Y&Y, I still think that pass whooping is the most complete team, but Y&Y is going to be a very good challenge for them. That would be potentially a finals preview.
Okay, let's run it through Co-Ed 3 here, Eggs. At least we tried. Dream Killers, Bandit against Block Party, Agridu against Half and Half, Thunder Villains against Petite Vite. I don't see an upset amongst these 4 games here. I think the 4 higher seeds have a strong chance to advance.
The one possibility would be Block Party over Bonzit. And half and half against Agridu. That's a great game actually. Because otherwise Thunder Villains just beat. No, that was a different game. I think Thunder Villains. Petit Vite are an interesting team with Chelsea Briton at quarterback. They're an interesting team. You know what? I think 3 of these have a chance at upsets. so to speak, with the visiting team winning. I think the best chance out of the four is half and half to come away with the win. But yeah, at least we tried is just on a different level over Dream Killers. Bonzit I like that team, but Block Party is a solid squad that if they can force a turnover or two, that again, like we said, Division 5, Fabrice Rabiat throwing in Div 5 and Co-Ed 3, he's getting those double reps. That really helps the quarterback a lot. I could do half and half. That one's going to be very interesting. Julien Prou against that half and half defense. Going to be a good test for him. Definitely one you want to catch if you're there at Laval. And then Thunder Villains, Petit Vite. A lot of that is just going to be how much Terry Babelis can control the game. He's capable of scoring, I think, on every drive. So a lot of that is a lot of the offensive output is going to come through him. And can Chelsea Briton go score for score against the Thunder Villains defense? Can she propel them into a tight game offensively?
All right, women's 1, we'll talk next week because they're off until the 29th, so there's nothing to talk about this week for women's 1. Women's 2, a lot to digest here, a lot to unpack. 4 higher seeds won, 4 lower seeds lost. 4 higher seeds won. It's such a long day, man. It's such a long anyway. 4 higher seeds won, 4 lower seeds won. Okay, so we have a half and half here. Because of the forfeit, 160-0. Okay, no problem. Cavaliers took out Valhalla by 26. Kisma Boots won by 12 over X and X. That could have been a surprise if they had lost that game. The Pats won because of the forfeit. Now here's where the lower seeds won. Wolfpack over Hibu 2. Surprise, shocker in that situation. Le Petit Miette won because of, I think, of a forfeit, I believe.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yes.
An administrative, but yes.
Yes. Lynxettes, shocker over Red Nation. They won by 14. And Wildcats won over Fit Squad by 1. So of the 4 lower seeds, the biggest shock was what in your mind?
I mean, let's disregard the Petimiet Trapa because that actually went to overtime, so it wasn't necessarily a 30-0 victory. So Wildcats Fit Squad, I don't think that's a shocker. It has to be Wolfpack over Ibu too. I mean, Wolfpack's a good team. I really like that three-headed monster that they carry offensively. And I'm not surprised they won, but I am definitely surprised in the score line and the fashion and the beatdown that they took or gave Ibu to. It definitely has to be that because I could have seen Lynxette or Red Nation winning that game. Red Nation finally putting up 25 points, but this time, usually the backbone of Red Nation, as we know, is their defense. Kind of let them down, right? It's not normal or not usually seen that they give up 39 points.
First time they've given up more than 30 points in the game this year.
Exactly. So finally they found the recipe on offense to put up enough points that should have won them the game. So in terms of that storyline there, that's a surprising loss for Red Nation given that their defense is their strength and 25 points normally would have won them the game.
Yeah, I think that was a bit surprised for Red Nation. I thought they would have been a Final Four team, and then after it's all bets are off. But Hibu too to lose like they did to Wolfpack. But congrats Wolfpack, you get the bigger Hibu. Hibu won, right? So that's your award for winning over Hibu 2, a revenge from the sister team of Hibu 2 with Hibu playing you guys. But I think now we go into the final quarterfinals here, the final 8. Cavs, Le Petit Miette, tricky game for Cavs. Because
really?
Now this is where the maturity comes into play. Can they take that next step in their progression? Kevin Luban told me, I think 18 months ago, we're building up towards 2025 as being our year. Yeah. And this can help springboard that campaign if they can come up with a win to get in the Final Four. And they looked awfully impressive against Valhalla last week. Or this past week, I beg your pardon.
Oh, yeah. that wasn't a conversation 18 months ago, and we're looking at 2025 for next year for a high performance, I'd say they are on the right trajectory. This team was serious. They have some athletes out there that definitely Les Petits Miettes do not, as good as Les Petits Miettes are. I've liked the core pieces that they've developed, and even adding Magali Ruel to the squad. There's just Cavaliers are on a different level. I'm gonna get the name Vanessa Dove. Oh my goodness, this is recruiting season. Juliette Beauvais, of course, at quarterback, looked as solid. Had that Sarah Parker kind of stance in the pocket. Just absolutely very impressed with this team. Both sides of the ball play a little too much man or cover shadow women defense for my liking, that even Valhalla was able to take advantage of. So watch for Les Petits Miettes receivers maybe to get open on a play or two, but you got to be able to score 40 points to keep up with Cavaliers, and not many women's two teams are able to do that.
No, they won't. So Wolfpack, as I said before, against Hibu. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Hey, look, they took one. They took Ibu 2 down. One. Why not another?
This is a different animal. This is a monster, Hibu. I might be competitive for a half, but that's about it.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I thought it would be close against Ibu 2. Even leaning towards the Ibu 2 side of things. I don't know. 32-8 is impressive. If they're feeling it, and we Instagram, our Instagram account had the highlights of women's too, and even though I only saw maybe 2 seconds of Maryse Paquette, the 2 seconds were impact plays, notably interceptions and I believe a touchdown pass to boot. She can take over a game. I've seen it, and if Ibu aren't careful and let Maryse Paquette dominate this game, which she can, don't discount what Wolfpack can do. It's going to be very interesting. Yes, Ibu are the favorite. Maryse Paquette is a favorite of mine.
Well, I think Ibu is going to run it. And the next game is Patrick CSL against Wildcats. The Pats, they've gone under the radar. They went 8-2. We know the coaches very well. Our boy Yoshi and our boy AJ Gomes, and how they have guided this team through the season that it's been for them. Given that they got the forfeit, they haven't played since April 8th, so a little bit of a long layoff for them, but they've played in other tournaments as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see weakness with the Pats right now. They might be the favorites to win it at Coed 2 at this point of this season.
Yeah, on both sides of the ball, they're impressive, right? Laetitia Ngalu, 8 interceptions, 17 PDs. You've said it. She's a chief destroyer out there, is usually the way I can quote you. Ariane Quiron, 7 interceptions. And then offensively, I believe exactly her as well, Marianne Quiron. So absolute baller, 2 sides. Maria Manseri, another offensive output. Lara Zoka, she hasn't played, the full season. Many of them, in fact, didn't. But in 7 games, putting up 300 yards. In the 5 games, Marianne put 565 yards, 11 touchdowns in 5 games played. So serious athletes, ballers, great football players out there. And then for Wildcats, it's just going to be very difficult for them because, Catherine Bolduc, when I first saw her, I'm like, wow, great. But maybe it's I happened to catch it during the fall season where the competition isn't as strong, and she's taken a dip. The competition is better, so that probably has something to do with it. But basically, 20 TDs, 11 INT, so 2-1. She didn't have the best of seasons. they just don't match up athletically. Martin, maybe not there to play the game, was on the sidelines this past Tuesday in Laval. She would have been a difference maker for Wildcats. If she's not there, that's going to be tough for them to cover, to go as deep as Patriots are.
Last game, probably the best game, Kiss My Boots against Lynxette. They played a 1-point throw for Kiss My Boots since the 84-point win over Pink Panthers in mid-March. Kiss My Boots have scored a total of 61 points, so they've kind of cooled off in the offensive end here. But now this could come down to defense. Both have had really good defenses. Kiss My Boots is known for their defense, only giving up, I think, like 94 points during the regular season or a little less than that.
Yeah.
So I just think it might come down to extra points and who can convert when it matters most. For that 1 or 2 point convert, that could be the difference.
I mean, that's what the difference was in the regular season, right? They got a 13-12 victory over Lynxette. But yeah, Sarah Maud Hamel, when she's on, and can be just as good, if not better, than Marie-Ève Girard. And you could say the same for Marie-Ève Girard, right? When she's on fire as well, and it can be equally as good, if not better, than Sarah Maud Hamel. So yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to come down to the receiver set, and I think Kiss My Boots have a deeper lineup when it comes to receiver, whether it's Ariane Chasson, Abigail Cockerton at snap, Erica Dubois, Amélie Durocher, Alexandra Falcon-Corb, Laurie Willette. I'm rattling off very, very solid elite players for the women's 2 division, and I'm not sure the Lynxette defenders can go that deep. They have some playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, but you need to be able to go 3 and 4 defenders deep to cover what Kiss My Boots present.
It's lined up for Kiss My Boots to run it. They've been confident about themselves, and they believe they can win it. Well, come on, said it before that we believe in ourselves, and maybe they can do it now. This might be the toughest test. We'll find out how this plays out. So that will do for us, Iggy. This is our longest show. We always know there's always that one long show. This is it, man.
This is it. We did it under the 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour mark that Simone did. So,
oh God,
Simone, welcome back to the league.
Yeah, welcome back, Simone. You're gone. You're out of the country, so it's I by myself next week. I'll figure it out. I'll talk to the Oreo or Nat and Gil about what we're gonna do for next week.
The Oreo. Yeah.
It'll be a shorter show. Quick reminder: spring registration is on right now. When is that closed for window? April what?
Let's go. A lot of people have been asking unofficially. April 20th or thereabouts. Okay. So about 9 to 10 more business days.
Right. So roughly about that. Don't forget, please look at the schedule for your playoff dates. They're locked in. We can maybe help out with the time on that day that maybe you might be a little bit later on, but we can't move games as freely as people hope to. These have been locked in for months, so please triple check your dates and when you play. And that's it. And last thing, one more thing. We're in Laval.
Oh, yes.
Please do not drink any alcohol in the stands or on the sidelines. I've received too much bleep from Laval management who've been good with me. But if I catch you guys, we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a major problem. So please, if you're going to drink far, far away from the complex. Not even the school zone. I found out, actually, if I tell you this, by the way, they now patrol the school zone for those who do drink Steve Weiser. So if you're going to drink alcohol,
makes sense.
Do it on the street, on their territory, the school zone, or the Point Boulogne territory as well. Okay, guys, please do that. Yeah. Magic words, please, Iggy.
Am I going to do that? No, I don't do that, Mo. Sorry.
Good night, Arizona Coyotes. We'll see you in Utah.
Put the place up. Yeah, we know what we